The strength of this super-old sacred city had allowed Chun Xiang to have a deeper understanding of the Saint Realm. The strength of this super-old sacred city had allowed Chun Xiang to have a deeper understanding of the Saint Realm. It's been a long time since I've seen him, the change isn't too great. Ji Linger brought Chun Xiang along as they walked along the busy street, buying a lot of snacks to eat. Although there were a lot of strong warriors, there were still a lot of weak ones. Ji Linger was very familiar with this place. Along the way, she had said by many shops that she was very familiar with, and they were all food sellers. Those things were all not ordinary, and required holy stone to buy them. Hurry up and tell me what you need to do to quickly increase your strength. Chun Xiang didn't have the time to stroll around here with her. Let's have fun again. I've been in charge of supervising the mine for almost 100 years, so of course I'll enjoy myself now. Ji Linger had 2 million kilograms of holy stone, so she could buy some things that she previously couldn't. Chun Xiang took this opportunity to take advantage of her, using the reason of helping his wife buy things as a reason to get her to help buy more than 10 sets of clothes that weren't bad for women. Those were for Su Meiyao and as well as some jewelry and such. In order to curry favor with Chun Xiang, Ji Linger was extremely generous. As long as she met someone Chun Xiang liked, she would pay. Little Linger, do you have any pills to sell here? Chun Xiang asked. He had followed Ji Linger around for the majority of the day, but he had never seen a shop that sold medicinal pellets. Of course I do, but I can't help you buy it. It's rather expensive, and the reason why I brought you here is because there are a lot of medicinal pills for sale. If you use the 1 million caddies of holy stone here, you should be able to break through quickly. Ji Linger muttered. My holy stone also wants to buy pills for myself, I also need to increase my strength. Then why didn't I see those pill shops? Chun Xiang looked around. It was just like a normal market. The super-old sacred city is divided into many districts, and right now, this district specializes in the sale of clothes, and then there is the sacred transformation sector, where people from the immortal becoming realm are mainly gathered. The medicinal ingredients and weapons sold there are also specially provided for people of this rank, and there is also the Heaven Sacred District, where people with my strength go to. Ji Linger smelled a bunch of fresh flowers that she had just bought, and smelled that flower's fragrance. She closed her eyes and enjoyed that beauty, and then set it in front of Chun Xiang, letting him feel the strange fragrance of that bunch of flowers. Chun Xiang pushed the bouquet of flowers away and asked, I don't have the power of the immortal becoming realm yet, where should I go? There is no special area here for you. Because it's not good enough. Even though Ji Linger said this, she did not have the slightest intention of ridiculing him. In her eyes, Chun Xiang was still rather powerful. Go to the area of the immortal becoming realm, there are immortal pills for sale there, it's useful for you. The sky in the sky region was so vast, Chun Xiang reckoned that it should be as big as the heaven realm, and it was even better developed than the 9 heaven world. Holy stone could be directly used to absorb the Holy Spirit chi inside, but if there was a high-level immortal pill working together, that would be for the best. Even if I eat immortal pills, my cultivation speed will be the same. I won't be that fast. Although Chun Xiang had not stepped into the immortal becoming realm, he still understood it well. You should still be in the immortal king stage, right? Let's talk about this after you enter the Immortal King stage late phase. Ji Linger brought Chun Xiang into the sacred transformation sector. Upon arriving, Chun Xiang immediately discovered that this place was very different from the previously chaotic regions. There were less people here, but all of them belonged to the immortal becoming realm. Chun Xiang secretly sighed with emotion. 9 heaven world must have been very strong back then, and the number of people in the immortal becoming realm should have been no less. Are you familiar with this place? After Chun Xiang entered the sacred transformation sector, he had a very special purpose. Of course I'm familiar with it. This was where said the time when I was using the immortal becoming realm. Ji Linger had indeed stayed here before, and had even left behind a good mansion. Are you not afraid of Ji clan finding out if you live here? Chen Xiang anxiously pulled Ji Linger back. What's there to be afraid of? Back then, when I was in trouble, I was always hiding here. Ji Linger shook off Chen Xiang's hand, took out a jade tablet and opened the door to the residence. After pulling Chen Xiang in, he opened up some formation enchantment. Ji Linger stood in the courtyard and laughed. This place is not bad, right? Back then, I spent a lot of effort to get this place. Although the yard had been left unattended for many years and had grown some weeds, it still looked pretty good. There were some strange bamboo and the houses were also elegantly built. Ji Linger and Chen Xiang spent less than an hour to finish up the house. At this time, Chen Xiang really wanted to go over to the pill shops to take a look. He was the best at concocting pills. He wanted to see what the alchemist here looked like. Little Linger, are you not going to the Heaven Sacred District? Chen Xiang did not want to be with Ji Linger right now. He wanted to go out and walk around by himself. No, I only see grade 8 and above elixirs, but even in Heaven Sacred District there are very few. I might as well use the holy stone to cultivate, so I will stay here to accompany you in your cultivation and protect you. Ji Linger played with his hair and laughed. You want to get rid of me? Of course not, I just want to take a walk by myself. Chen Xiang shook his head. If you go out and do bad things by yourself, then I want to be with you even more. Doing bad things in super old sacred city and getting caught is very troublesome. Ji Linger revealed a sly smile. Seems like she had already done a lot of bad things here. Ever since he saw that Ji Linger wanted to keep the 3 million kilogram holy stone for himself, Chen Xiang knew that she wasn't a good bird. Okay, I'll take you, but you have to listen to me, Chen Xiang said with an commanding tone. Yes, Linger. Ji Linger laughed mischievously. Chen Xiang walked to the door and immediately opened it. After walking out of the house, she obediently followed beside Chen Xiang, making him feel that she was an outstanding female slave. Little Linger, is there any alchemist here that can refine a holy pellet? Chen Xiang felt that the sky region's refining level should be higher than the 9 heaven world. Of course there are. However, there are only a few of them and it's very difficult to find them. You have to eat the holy elixir. Ji Linger asked. Of course not, I'm not afraid to tell you, I am also an alchemist. Chen Xiang smiled and said, if possible, I'm more inclined to eat by myself. Really? Ji Linger had a face full of disbelief, as he looked at Chen Xiang from head to toe, as if looking at him in a new light. Chen Xiang laughed. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. Ji Linger stuck out her tongue. Even if you are, you should be one of those unranked alchemists. There are too many of these alchemists here, I'll catch a bunch of them. Ji Linger stuck out her tongue. Even if you are, you should be one of those unranked alchemists. There are too many of these alchemists here, I'll catch a bunch of them. Chen Xiang heard her footsteps, turned his head and looked at her. How can I be considered a mediocre alchemist? Ji Linger's eyes turned, he thought for a moment. At the very least, you can concoct immortal pills, and with your current cultivation, you are not even at the immortal becoming realm. You should be unable to concoct immortal pills, right? Chen Xiang laughed. I'm sorry, I can coincidentally concoct immortal pills, even though it's just a first-grade immortal pill. Ji Linger was startled for a moment. She had indeed not expected this, and then pouted playfully. Even if I can refine it, it would probably be that kind of lousy stuff. Chen Xiang did not tell her more because he realized that the pill refining industry in the heavenly realm was not as developed as he had imagined. At the very least, it could not be compared to the 9 heaven world. In this place, most of the people who were able to concoct immortal pills were only using immortal becoming realm, so Chen Xiang did not understand either. At this moment, he was even more curious about the super old sacred city's pill refining industry. Under Ji Linger's guidance, He came to one of the pill stores in the sacred transformation area. It was called the Heavenly Cauldron Pill Store. The inside of the Heaven's Mandate Pill Shop was very S.P. A. Sias. Once they entered, it became a very extravagant exhibition hall. The decorations were very luxurious. The old man in charge of selling pills could feel that the Qi on Ji Linger was not ordinary, and he also brought in a very weak rookie. Powerful seniors bringing their juniors to buy medicinal pills was a very normal thing. Furthermore, they were usually very large in quant. One Tai. Welcome, esteemed guests, to our Heavenly Cauldron restaurant. We have many types of pills here, and there will definitely be one suitable for you. If the quant 1 Tai is too great, we will also get a discount. The old man said with a smile. Ji Linger looked at Chen Xiang, signaling him to speak. Do you have a Tianlong Dan here? Chen Xiang asked. Heavens! Tianlong. The old man was at a loss for words. This? No. Where's the high-grade sacred animal Dan, 3rd grade immortal, 4th grade immortal? Chen Xiang asked again. The old man took a deep breath, shook his head and said, No, not even these kinds of pills. It's mainly for the beasts, especially the Tianlong Dan. That was something the primordial dragon clan created to strengthen their own race. What about the low-rank sacred animal Dan? It's of the 1st or 2nd grade immortal grade. Chen Xiang asked again. No, the beasts like to eat these, so they easily discovered it, so it's very difficult for us to pick them. Perhaps the clans and sects that raise saint beasts should have them, and they rarely buy them, so we don't have any. The old man quickly explained and then looked at Chen Xiang in confusion. He asked in a small voice, Little brother, are you really not a person? Chen Xiang was speechless. Of course I'm human. Ji Linger patted the old man's shoulder and said, He's still a little fairy, hurry up and go up if you want to eat any pills. Of course, this is the first choice for Yuxian Dan. If you want to save Holy Stone, then buy a large amount of 1st grade immortals, and buy 3rd grade immortals as soon as possible. But I recommend that 2nd grade immortals Yuxian Dan are not very expensive, and they are not very slow. The old man chuckled. I think that he would need at least 1,000 of those level 2 immortal Yuxian Dan to help him reach the late stage of the Immortal King stage. At that time, he would use a large number of them to purchase a holy transformation pill, directly entering the immortal becoming realm, and begin to step into the 9 transformation saint level. 1,000 stage 2 immortal Yuxian Dan indeed had such an effect. If it were an ordinary person, perhaps it would be just as the old man had predicted, but he was not an ordinary person. He had 5 unique heaven pills in his body, and his innate qi had already been converted into holy energy. How many holy stone are there in 10,000 of them? Ji Linger knew that Chen Xiang was different from the others, so she budgeted more Yuxian Dan. 100,000 Jin. The old man quickly said, I can give you some benefits, it's only 98,000 kilograms of holy stone. Just as Ji Linger was about to buy it, Chen Xiang interrupted her and asked, Then how much are you selling the 2nd stage immortal stage Yuling bamboo shoots for? He would feel heartache for a while, because he felt that it was a bit asymmetrical to use the holy stone to buy immortal pills. The holy stone could extract a large amount of holy energy, and it would be of great help to him when he enters the immortal becoming realm. Yuling bamboo shoots are the only materials used to refine Yuxian Dan S. They can only be refined 1 pellet per furnace, and the price of medicinal ingredients is usually half that of immortal pellets. A 2nd grade immortal Yuxian Dan S is 10 caddies per pellet, and the price of medicinal ingredients is 5 caddies per pellet. Originally, he thought that Chen Xiang would buy Yuxian Dan, but who knew that he would actually buy some medicinal ingredients to refine for his elders. Ji Linger frowned. Just now, Chen Xiang had said that he knew how to refine Tier 1 immortal pills, but now that it's Tier 2, why would he want to buy a Tier 2 one? Just as she was about to speak, Chen Xiang said again, 1,000 of these 3 kilograms of holy stone, then you can give me 10 of them. Little brother, you must be joking. I already said before that I want 5 kilograms of holy stone. The old man chuckled. Then forget it, let's go. Chen Xiang used his ultimate killing technique, turned and walked away. Although medicinal herbs were precious, those that could be grown in large quantities would usually not reach half of the pill. At most, it would only reach 30%. Although this was the heavenly realm, it was still a good idea to try it out everywhere. Ji Linger did not understand. She wanted to pull Chen Xiang to buy those Yuxian Dan, so that she could stop tormenting herself. However, Chen Xiang did pull her along. Never mind, I'll just sell it to you. The old man quickly shouted. Selling medicinal materials would earn him a lot of money, but the profit was slightly less than selling immortal pills. Chen Xiang took out 3,000 holy stone, bought 1,000 of them, and gave them away as 10. Knew that the other party would definitely sell them. After the successful transaction, he did not continue to stroll around the pill shop in order to not distract himself with other things. Returning back to the house, Ji Linger asked in puzzlement, "Why don't you buy Yuxian Dan S and buy medicinal ingredients directly? Didn't you only know how to refine first-stage immortal grade S? Furthermore, based on your situation, you need at least 10,000 pills, you only bought 1,000 pills." Chen Xiang smiled and caressed her face. "I don't either, but I can learn it. Alchemist isn't someone who can concoct pills from birth, she only learned it step by step. But 1,000 sets of ingredients? How long will it take for that to happen? I'd rather be locked up for 1,000 years than concocting 1,000 batches of pills. I'll die." Ji Linger pouted. Chen Xiang couldn't tell her the exact answer, but he felt that it would be more worthwhile doing it this way. "I'm going to start concocting pills, you go and play," Chen Xiang said. He now treated Ji Linger as a weird little girl. "I'm going to start concocting pills, you go and play," Chen Xiang said. He now treated Ji Linger as a weird little girl. "I want to see you concoct pills. Can I stay by the side?" Ji Linger rolled her eyes and said coquettishly, "I won't disturb you, I just wanted to see how you were doing." Seeing Ji Linger's look of despise, he knew that Ji Linger was doubting his ability to refine pills. "Let me ask you, are holy stone that heavy? If it was you, how long would it take to use the proper method?" Chen Xiang was also very curious about this, because when he found out that they had lost 3 million kilograms of holy stone, the elders of the Ji clan were very angry. It's not easy to get, only selling saint beasts can come fast, but the saint beasts around here are not weak, and they can't be easily caught either. A saint beast is only worth around 100,000 caddies of holy stone. If you're lucky, it would take more than 20 years to track one. Ji Linger thought for a while, then said, "If I were to help the Ji clan with some chores, and go out to fight and kill them, with only 1,000 kilogram holy stone, it would take me at least 100 years to gather 100,000 kilograms, and this is under the condition of having other things to do. However, I am very powerful. Through the tie-in within the clan, I can compete to be the guard of the mine, so I can make a lot of money. This time, I got 2 million caddies, hee. Ji Linger, this kind of relatively powerful heaven person, could only earn 1,000 holy stone per year. However, she definitely had other methods to earn some extra money, but she could still see that the holy stone was more precious. No wonder she took the risk of taking all of those 3 million kilograms of holy stone s. With my current strength, I can only use holy stone to increase my strength. High-grade immortal pills are too little and expensive, so holy stone are very lacking," Ji Linger said. Chen Xiang pinched her face. "Then why did you let me buy those 10,000 pieces of Yuxian Dan, taking away 100,000 kilograms in an instant? You must be trying to scam me." "Nope, she wants to buy it for you." Ji Linger's face was filled with hidden bitterness. "In the future, without my permission, don't randomly buy those immortal pills. I am an alchemist, so I can only eat the pills refined by myself. Chen Xiang said. Just like the refiner, he only used the weapons he refined himself. There was only a secret room here, but it was quite spacious. After Ji Linger brought Chen Xiang in, he cleaned up a bit and even made a bed for a bed. Why are you doing this? Chen Xiang really didn't understand. When refining pills, doesn't it take a year and a half? I can't just sit there and watch, taking a bath, sleeping, eating, and so on. They shouldn't affect you, right? Ji Linger said naively. If you want to refine 1,000 batches, it would take at least 100 years. Chen Xiang curled his lips and said, Foolish girl who has never seen the world, I will definitely broaden your horizons in a while. Ji Linger could not accept it and snorted. You're so weak, what right do you have to mock me? You're the one who has never seen the world. When I first came to super old sacred city, you had a MP-like expression. I even want to laugh when I think about it. I am the eldest daughter of the Ji clan's patriarch after all, and I have also been to the sacred top. I have watched people ascend the divine road unseen, and not just anyone can leave this sacred domain. I am the eldest daughter of the Ji clan's patriarch, and I have also watched people ascend the divine avenue on sight. Chen Xiang gently caressed her face and laughed. I am indeed a country begin in other aspects, but I have absolute confidence in refining pills. You just need to watch. That's more like it. I was chosen into the top 10 holy maiden of every 10,000 years in super old sacred city. I only got the 12th place, but I am still very powerful, no? Ji Linger hugged his chest proudly. Why didn't he enter the top 10? Chen Xiang asked. Which 10,000 years? It was 10,000 years ago. However, I have fallen to the 20th place in this 10,000 year. Why haven't I been ranked? The main reason is because I don't care, because I didn't show myself to the public before the selection, so I didn't enter the rankings. However, the saints that are ranked in the top 3 are all genuine, and have very beautiful looks, high standing, and authority. Only if they speak out, a large number of fools would be willing to serve them at any time. Ji Linger hugged his chest, with a face full of anger. I don't want to become this kind of woman. Chen Xiang took out the Yanlong furnace and laughed. So that means after I become strong, I can obtain you, a holy maiden who might even reach the top. And now you still serve me, and are even following me by my side. Ji Linger raised his head, his face full of arrogance. Of course, now you know how powerful I am, right? Chen Xiang began to refine pills. Ji Linger laid on her clothes, waiting for the beautiful eyes to look at him, showing an extremely peaceful expression. Although she could not understand, she was looking very seriously, but her gaze was mainly focused on Chen Xiang. 2 hours later, Chen Xiang's pill furnace released a bang sound. The furnace blew up. I know that. Ji Linger chuckled from the side. It's more or less what I expected. The reason you bought those medicinal ingredients was so that you could explode inside the pill furnace. Blast your sister, this is called a mistake, said in a bad mood. He had blown up, but for the alchemist who was concocting a level 2 immortal pill for the first time, this was very normal. Ji Linger laughed even more happily now. Hurry and push the blame for your mistake onto me. Say that it's because I've affected you, then you'll feel much better. I do not have the habit of working my responsibilities. Even if you call for the top 10 of the Holy Maiden ranking and strip naked in front of me, I would still not be affected. Chen Xiang was very confident. He had already experienced this kind of test a long time ago, and the main responsibility was Su Mei Yao and Bai Yuyu. Next, he began the second batch of Yuling bamboo shoots. When he bought the first 10, he asked the old man to give him 10, because he had already predicted that the initial stages would fail. Ji Linger charmingly laughed, her laughter carrying a captivating allure. It was clear that she had received training in this area before. She then slowly took off the dress on her upper body, revealing her beautiful collarbone. The skirt slid down, revealing a pair of round, partially wrapped snow peaks. The flame when you refine pills makes me so hot. Ji Linger twisted her snow-white slim waist and coiled her long black hair. She spoke with a soft and charming voice, which was extremely alluring. Chen Xiang calmly sat there controlling the flames in the furnace and used the G.O.D. purification to burn the Yuling bamboo shoot. He turned and looked at Ji Linger, who was trying to seduce him, and said indifferently, "With your level, you want to seduce me. Since it's boring to refine pills anyway, why don't you make it even more intense? Otherwise, it would be hard to break my state of mind." Seeing Chen Xiang's expression, Ji Linger was very disappointed, as if the beautiful her was called ugly by others. She started to untie the cloth covering her chest, which was made up of thin white silk that had wrapped itself around her chest. Ji Linger saw that Chen Xiang had turned his head around, so he slowed down his pace even more. It had been a long time since he last made a circle, but now, he could faintly make out a faint blush. Ji Linger saw that Chen Xiang had turned his head around, so he slowed down his pace even more. It had been a long time since he last made a circle, but now, he could faintly make out a faint blush. Ji Linger, who was originally a little proud, saw that Chen Xiang's eyes were not burning hot like she had imagined. "Hurry up, why are you dawdling?" Chen Xiang chuckled. Although he said that, it gave people a feeling that it was not important. Ji Linger grumbled, but she did not continue to remove the veil, but instead wrapped it around her, because she did not plan to take it off for Chen Xiang to see. She only wanted to enchant Chen Xiang to see if it was truly as strong as he said, and not be affected at all. Now she truly believed that Chen Xiang's mental fortitude was beyond ordinary, but she was still disappointed in herself, and actually did not move Chen Xiang's heart. It wasn't that Chen Xiang hadn't seen beautiful women's bodies before, but rather, he had seen many of them. Ji Linger put on his clothes and lied down on the bed, drinking some delicious ditty as he watched Chen Xiang concoct pills. Although it was best if no one disturbed Chen Xiang when he was refining pills, it was very boring. A beauty was humming a tune beside him, which Chen Xiang enjoyed very much. Had refined quite a number of level 1 immortal Yuxindan before, but now, while refining the level 2, even though he was using the Yuling bamboo shoots, he felt that it was extremely strange and hard to refine it. Because Chen Xiang used the God purification, Su Meiyao's pointers were very limited. She could only tell him the specialties of the medicinal herbs and the things he should pay attention to. Ji Linger looked at Chen Xiang's Yanlong furnace in a daze, not knowing why she had the time to do so. Just as she was about to lose her train of thought, an explosion suddenly occurred, scaring her to the point that her delicate body trembled. It exploded again. Ji Linger laughed. "Do you even know how to refine pills? You already wasted 2 sets of ingredients in one go." Chen Xiang wiped off the sweat on his face and said, "This is my first time refining a Yuxindan of this level. Failing 2 times is normal, but when I succeed, it's fine as long as I don't get scared. Success means success, what's there to be afraid of?" Ji Linger said casually. From what she knew, successfully refining a batch of pills was normal. How could it scare people? Chen Xiang opened the pill furnace and looked at the scattered medicine aura, frowning and thinking. "I used the 5 elements sacred flame, which was enough during the burning process. Although it's a little difficult to use divine power to refine the spirit, I can still handle it. Why did the Yuling bamboo shoots suddenly explode when I was halfway through it?" Chen Xiang told Su Meiyao about this discovery. Although Su Meiyao did not understand God purification, she was an experienced Dan immortal, and might be able to give him a solution. "Give Shui a stalk, let her see if there's anything wrong with the Yuling bamboo shoots itself." There was one in Su Meiyao's hand, so when she looked at it carefully, she felt that this Yuling bamboo shoots was a little different. Chen Xiang did not notice this problem. He had checked on the Yuling bamboo shoot's medicinal strength to be at the immortal 2nd rank, but he did not pay much attention to the others, and when he was refining, he did not find any difference. Long Shui quickly ate one of it. She chewed on the Yuling bamboo shoots and said with a bitter face, "It's not tasty at all. It's very old, very hard to chew, and a bit bitter." The Yuling bamboo shoots of the first stage of the immortal realm was very delicious. It was sweet and crispy. Chen Xiang asked, "There's something wrong with these Yuling bamboo shoots?" Long Shui swallowed the last bit of Yuling bamboo shoots with difficulty. "The problem is that there isn't any. The medicinal power contained inside is still very strong. It's possible that these Yuling bamboo shoots were grown using other methods, which resulted in them being different from the 9 heaven worlds' Yuling bamboo shoot." Seeing Chen Xiang standing there in a daze, Ji Linger lightly shouted, "What's wrong? Little Linger, how do you grow the herbs here?" Chen Xiang felt that the Sky Realm's medicinal herbs probably weren't produced using an array. It wasn't something that grew in a natural state. "It's very simple. Cultivators of the water attribute are able to release a very powerful type of holy water through some techniques, condensing it into rain clouds and suddenly watering the medicinal herbs. This can allow the growth of medicinal herbs and things like that to increase rapidly." Ji Linger said, "Isn't that place yours?" "No, other than this, are there any other steps?" Chen Xiang asked again. "Yes, I've heard that when these medicinal herbs grow, they are divided into several stages. Every time a stage is reached, someone will channel energy into the medicinal herbs, allowing them to grow steadily with great medicinal effects." Ji Linger laughed. "I learned it before, but it's too boring. In the end, I give up, but if I can control it well, I can still earn a lot of holy stone." Chen Xiang nodded. He now understood why, when he was refining Yuling bamboo shoots, it would always explode out of nowhere. It was because inside these medicinal ingredients, there were still some sacred energy left over from others, all carried the consciousness of the original owner. If he used the foreseeing alchemy, it wouldn't have any effect. But his God purification was different. The God purification wanted to suppress all sorts of spiritual energy within the medicinal ingredients so that they would not be able to resist, and then perfectly refine them into medicine auras and medicinal powders. Knowing this makes things much easier. Chen Xiang took out a Yuling bamboo shoot. As soon as he released his divine power, a large amount of his mental power gushed into the Yuling bamboo shoot. Then, he activated the devouring magic kung fu and swallowed all the remaining spiritual power within the Yuling bamboo shoot. He had to master this process well, otherwise, he would absorb the spiritual energy inside the Yuling bamboo shoot. Right now, he could only absorb a portion of the spiritual energy that carried a human consciousness. It did not affect the Yuling bamboo shoots at all. Will it work this time? Ji Linger saw Chen Xiang put another Yuling bamboo shoots into the furnace and began refining the third furnace. Chen Xiang did not answer, but in his heart, he already had an answer. Chen Xiang's God power was like a wave as it rhythmically surged towards the inner parts of the Yuling bamboo shoots, causing it to give up on defending, allowing his flames to quickly decompose the Yuling bamboo shoot. Ji Linger saw that Chen Xiang had been working on it seriously for more than 6 hours, and felt that Chen Xiang had improved a lot compared to the previous 2 times, because the furnace had exploded very quickly. The pill furnace swayed for a bit, and Ji Linger immediately looked at it seriously. But not long after, she heard a soft sound coming from the furnace, causing her to feel depressed. What a powerful Yuling bamboo shoots! Chen Xiang was sweating profusely, but his face was full of joy. He realized that the Yuling bamboo shoots of the Saint Realm had a great advantage, that was, the medicinal power contained within them were extremely rich, which made it so that he did not expect that the moment the Yuling bamboo shoots was broken up, the boundless medicinal power would suddenly burst forth, catching him completely off guard, and causing him to be unable to react in time, and only then would it explode. What are you so happy about? Ji Linger did not understand, she only knew a little about pill refining. Since she was young, she knew that she was not an ingredient in pill refining, so she did not think it was necessary for her to be familiar with this area. What are you so happy about? Ji Linger did not understand, she only knew a little about pill refining. Since she was young, she knew that she was not an ingredient in pill refining, so she did not think it was necessary for her to be familiar with this area. Nothing, just that this Yuling bamboo shoots is better than I thought. Chen Xiang laughed and wiped away the perspiration on his face. During the continuous concocting of pills, he had to hit hard on his mind and release a large amount of flames, which was why he was sweating so much. Ji Linger didn't understand and stuck out his tongue. Go and take a shower. You have been continuously going on for half a day and you will also need to rest. I feel tired for you just by looking at it. It's nothing. I'm used to it. Chen Xiang laughed and walked towards the bathroom Ji Linger had built. It was only separated by a simple screen, and there was a relatively large bath inside. Ji Linger walked over, took out a small gold bottle, and poured some water into the bath. This water is no ordinary water. When I was at the mining field, I collected a lot of underground spring water that was soaked by holy stone. After Ji Linger had filled the bath, she smiled charmingly. Do you want me to go with you? Chen Xiang chuckled. That would be for the best. He stripped off his clothes in front of Ji Linger and jumped into the bath. Ji Linger said with a red face and a tender smile, You wish. Chen Xiang heated up the water in the bath until it boiled, and the holy energy that was contained in the water entered his body even more quickly removing the fatigue from his body. Lying on his back in the bath, he closed his eyes, channeled the 9-turn dragon God mantra, and absorbed the dense holy energy into his body through the 9-turn dragon God mantra. Chen Xiang returned to the side of the furnace. He did not expect that the holy stone's water would have such an effect. After taking a bath, it allowed his condition to its peak, allowing him to feel that the energy in his body was boiling. The energy contained within this Yuling bamboo shoots is able to allow me to condense at least 3 or even 4 pills. Chen Xiang took out a Yuling bamboo shoots, exorcised the human spirit inside, and placed it into the pill furnace. This was also why he was so happy. Because of the special planting method used by the heaven, the energy within the spirit herbs was different from that of the 9 heaven world, and it was concentrated with a large amount of high-quality energy. Having had previous experiences of failure, he was able to discover many problems. As long as he could avoid those problems, he would be on the verge of success. Because he did not completely master how to refine a second stage immortal Yuxindan, Chen Xiang did not use the Yanlong furnace's formation to increase his speed. That ability to increase speed could only be used after being completely familiar with it, otherwise it would have been used right from the start and would have easily failed. Very quickly, 6 hours had passed. Ji Linger had been calculating the time, and when it was this time, she became more alert, because it was right at this time that Chen Xiang failed. She wanted to see if Chen Xiang could hold on longer than before. He's coming. The Yuling bamboo shoots inside the pill furnace was about to melt, and in that instant, it produced a huge amount of medicine aura-s and medicinal powders. Chen Xiang immediately released his strongest power to suppress it, and this energy, that was concentrated in the Yuling bamboo shoots, made Chen Xiang ecstatic once again. It's over. Ji Linger thought in her heart. Seeing Chen Xiang's calm face, unlike those previous tense times where she knew Chen Xiang was gradually nearing success, she couldn't help but be a little excited. She continued to lie down and hum a small tune, waiting for the result. Chen Xiang was ecstatic in his heart. I never thought that there would be so many medicine aura and medicinal powders. I wonder how they grew them, which actually allowed the medicinal herbs to compress their own energy. I wonder how many pills he can condense. Su Meiyao asked. Under normal circumstances, it would be 1 pellet, and this heaven realm seems to be the same. Chen Xiang laughed. If it was any other alchemist, they would have opened the lid to let a portion of the energy flow out just now. This way, although I could have avoided the explosion, it would have been too wasteful, and I could have controlled it. Ji Linger had already eaten a second-stage, immortal-grade Yuxiandan before, so she had a very good understanding of the price of Yuxiandan. If Chen Xiang was able to refine them, and only bought medicinal ingredients in the future, it would save her a lot of effort. However, she was worried about the time because she knew that it would take a relatively long time to refine all these Yuxiandan. Just as Ji Linger was thinking, Chen Xiang's pill furnace started shaking again. Is it going to explode? Ji Linger anxiously shouted. Nope. Chen Xiang forced a smile as beads of perspiration dripped from his forehead. Previously, when he was refining pills, he had compressed a large amount of medicine aura and medicinal powder, but none of them were comparable to this time's second-grade immortal grade S. This was because the large S of medicine aura inside the pill furnace was different from the medicinal powder, and it had been condensed to the same size as the previous time. However, Chen Xiang had a lot of experience compressing this kind of violent energy. In just an hour, he was able to compress it together and enter the core formation stage. The ball of mist was extremely thick, and after Chen Xiang took a deep breath, he used his divine power to split it into 5 groups. This situation seems to be the latter stage of the core formation stage. Ji Linger was a little shocked, because it had only been 6 hours. If he had used this kind of time to refine a batch of Yuxiandan, it would be extremely fast, and she understood this point rather well. Chen Xiang steadied the furnace, and the 5 S of mist inside started to gather up, slowly condensing into a solid state, then condensing into a pill. It's done, the quality is very high. If you work a little harder, you might be able to give out some light. Chen Xiang let out a long breath and relaxed his tensed body. Ji Linger frowned. He got up quickly and walked to Chen Xiang's side and asked, "You have finished refining the first furnace?" Chen Xiang nodded. "What's wrong? Why are you so fast? Although I don't concoct pills, I know that a rookie like you would need at least 2 to 3 days to concoct a batch of immortal grade 2 Yuxiandan." Ji Linger's face was filled with disbelief as he reached his hand out to open the lid of the pill furnace. A thick medicinal fragrance immediately rushed out and a gentle white light flickered inside the pill furnace. After the mist dissipated, Ji Linger let out a cry of shock. Her beautiful eyes stared wide open as she opened her mouth wide and turned her head to look at Chen Xiang. This was really forged by you." Ji Linger saw that there were 5 high-quality, immortal grade 2 Yuxiandan in the pill furnace, but to her knowledge, this was definitely not possible. A single batch or 2 was already very powerful, and only a few Dan immortal could do that, but Chen Xiang being able to get 5 at a time gave her a big shock. Chen Xiang smiled and nodded. "Let's try one pellet and see if it is made delicious by those famous masters." Chen Xiang smiled and nodded. "Let's try one pellet and see if it is made delicious by those famous masters." Ji Linger immediately took out one pellet and placed it into her mouth. She gently stirred it and swallowed it before praising. "The quality is very high. This is probably the Yuxiandan with the highest quality that I have eaten. How did you make it? It's concocted like this. Didn't you see it earlier?" Chen Xiang chuckled. "The progress is much more smooth than I thought." Now that Ji Linger saw him in a new light, she knew that not only was Chen Xiang's cultivation mysterious, he was also very good at refining pills. She said, "You still have 1,000 sets of ingredients left in your possession. That means you can refine 5,000 Yuxiandan, which is only 1,000 kilograms. If we buy 1,000 more for refinement, we will have 10,000 Yuxiandan, and we will be able to sell them for 100,000 jin, but the cost is only 6,000 jin. It seems like we will have to earn a cramp." He knew that Chen Xiang was not ordinary, and their relations, Hi plus P, did not develop by much either. Right now, in her eyes, Chen Xiang was just a rooster who knew how to kill holy stone. I will go and buy a large number of grade 2 immortal Yuling bamboo shoots now. We will have 5 million kilograms of holy stone very soon. Even 100 million kilograms. Ji Linger was extremely excited and was about to leave the secret room. Chen Xiang anxiously pulled her along. Little Linger, the reason why I'm refining Yuxiandan is to increase my strength. Once I become stronger, I can start concocting pills faster and reach a higher level. Also, with so many pills, it won't be easy to get rid of them. You are also being chased by the Ji clan, so it's best to keep a low profile right now. Ji Linger took a few deep breaths and calmed herself down. She was truly too agitated before. After your strength has increased, you won't run away, right? Ji Linger was a little worried. In her eyes, Chen Xiang was a treasure. Not only could he teach her the changing technique, he could also use such a brilliant method to quickly earn a large amount of holy stone. When that time comes, of course, I will leave this place. However, before I leave, I will earn a sum of money before leaving. At that time, you will have benefits. Chen Xiang smiled and pinched her cute nose. You stay by my side, I'm not so bored while concocting pills. Ji Linger laughed. If you need me, I can accompany you for a lifetime. Chen Xiang sat down and prepared to continue concocting pills. He also felt that with his pill refining abilities, he could earn a large amount of holy stone, and when the time came, he could buy some medicinal ingredients before returning. Linger, if I had a lot of holy stone, would I be able to meet the pill saint here? Chen Xiang asked. There were people here who knew how to refine holy pellets, then there would be pill saint. You want to eat the holy elixir? Ji Linger asked. I'm not too sure either, but if you need to see, you can try. No, I have a friend who is injured. He needs a holy elixir to cure him. Chen Xiang said. Oh, what kind of injury is that? Ji Linger asked curiously. Even if I'm wounded in the eyes, I probably won't need a holy pellet. Chen Xiang was also not clear about Su Meiyao's and Bai Yuyu's injuries. Their abilities were only at the mid to late stage Immortal King, and they did not need any holy pellets, but Su Meiyao had never mentioned that kind of injury. I'll go out, I'll show her. Su Meiyao suddenly said. Sister Meiyao, you're coming out. Chen Xiang was very surprised. It's all right, there are no enemies in this heaven realm. My enemies should be in the 9 heaven world, so there's no need to be afraid. She's not bad to you, and she's very strong, so you don't need to worry about me. Su Meiyao chuckled, but she might be scared when she sees me suddenly appear. I'll go out and get some fresh air as well. Bai Yuyu also said. She has paws, said the 9 Revolutions Saint, maybe she has a way to make us better. Fine, Chen Xiang said. Even if he did not agree, Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu could freely go in and out. Ji Linger was waiting for Chen Xiang to answer, but suddenly 2 rays of light flashed out. Sensing that there was someone else's aura, Ji Linger immediately became vigilant. They're the ones who got hurt. As Chen Xiang looked at the 2 women who had suddenly appeared, and saw Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu's absolutely beautiful appearance, an unexplainable emotion surged in his heart. He remembered the first time he saw them, and all these things that happened over the years. Su Meiyao was charming and gentle, her charm was alluring, wearing a purple dress, it gave her blee and beautiful temperament. Looked the same as before, but Chen Xiang knew that her heart was different from the geniuses from the past. He could see it from the softness in her eyes. She admitted that Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were indeed a rare pair of exceptional beauties. Now, she sort of understood why Chen Xiang could resist her temptation. Big Sister Linger, can you help look at our injuries? Su Meiyao smiled sweetly. This little girl's name is Su Meiyao, this is my senior sister Bai Yuyu, she doesn't like to talk, please forgive her. Lo. Bai Yuyu revealed a rare smile as he greeted Ji Linger. Ji Linger laughed. You guys are much more polite than this guy. Afterwards, she held Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu's hands and led them to the bedside to let them sit. Relax, I'm going to check your bodies. Ji Linger placed his hands on top of Bai Yuyu's and Su Meiyao's abdomen. A moment later, Ji Linger exclaimed and could not help but say, "You guys are still virgins, aren't you the brats' wives?" Su Meiyao chuckled. "That little scoundrel met us when he was still a child. We were already heavily injured at that time." Then she blushed and said, "I can be considered his wife now. This little scoundrel is quite good." "Did you see anything?" Chen Xiang asked. "It's a very strange injury. They all have a strange power inside their bodies, and it has been devouring the energy inside their dantian all this time. As long as their dantian can condense that power, it will be devoured." Ji Linger said as his brows furrowed, "The energy within their dantian has been dispersed, but their foundation is still considered stable. They really need a type of sacred pill to recover their original strength." Ji Linger frowned. "However, if we don't expel that strange power from their bodies, even if they took the holy pellet, they would quickly return to their original state." Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu seemed to know it too. "Big Sister Linger, can you help us get rid of that strange power?" Bai Yuyu asked. Ji Linger laughed and said, "Of course I can, but I need some time. But as repayment, you all have to tell me some interesting things about this brat." Su Meiyao looked at Chen Xiang and chuckled. "No problem, some of his matters aren't secret either." Chen Xiang was still quite confident of his own shady background. He didn't have a lot of dark history, so he wasn't afraid of Su Meiyao saying anything. Chen Xiang was still quite confident of his own shady background. He didn't have a lot of dark history, so he wasn't afraid of Su Meiyao saying anything. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu sat on the bed. Facing Ji Linger placed both of his hands on her chest. "The person who can release this kind of strange power should be very strong." Ji Linger frowned. "Right now, I can only help you force it out. Without that strange power, your situation should be able to improve." Chen Xiang had asked around about some things regarding Su Meiyao previously, but because they were mistaken for dead many years ago, their reputation had gradually decreased. Only the older generation could remember them, so he did not know much about them, nor did he know who their real enemies were. On the other hand, because Bai Ziqian had returned and used the magical corruption gas, her reputation was still there. Chen Xiang continued refining the Yuxian Dan of the immortal second stage. With his previous success, it would be difficult for him to fail next, and he had not used the time acceleration array inside the Yanlong furnace yet, as he was still not familiar with the immortal second stage Yuxian Dan. "Linger, how long will it take for you to help them force out that strange power?" Chen Xiang asked. "I'm not sure yet. It will take at least a few months." Ji Linger sighed. "They still have a foundation, they only need to recover their dantian to recover to their original state, but they need a holy core to do so. You might be able to meet a pill saint who knows how to concoct elixirs in the heavenly realm, but if you can't concoct the elixir, then it will be useless. Don't expect the elixir to help you sell the elixir." Su Meiyao said, "I have almost collected all the medicinal ingredients. If I can find the pill saint, it shouldn't be difficult for him to refine them. This would require at least 1 or 2 types of holy-level medicinal herbs. I never thought that you would be able to find them in the 9-heaven world." Ji Linger was a little surprised. The holy levels were just as precious in the heaven realm. If he really could find a holy pellet, then he would have to give some benefits to the pill saint. For alchemists of that level, holy level medicine was the best reward, so Chen Xiang planned to condense some creation divine liquid S and copy some holy level medicine during this period of time. If only LV Chilian was here. Help me get some holy level medicinal herbs quickly. Chen Xiang thought. After LV Chilian and little Lizzie parted ways, they hurried back to the 9-heaven world. This heaven realm was not a place they could enter as they wished. During that period of time, many people had already returned, and the door would continue to open for a period of time, waiting for those who were still alive to return. Several months had passed, said, and Ji Wakewan stood at the main entrance. The Xiao Profound Yun beside him tightly gripped his palm, because they were waiting for Huang Jintian. Huang Jintian was their master, and had originally gone in with them, but he still had not come out, causing them to be extremely worried. Now they had to prepare to close this door, because practically everyone who was still alive had already returned. You guys don't have to worry too much about your masters. Chen Xiang is also inside. They might have already met and planned to stay inside for a while longer. Back then, Chen Xiang did not enter through this door. Right now, her impression of Chen Xiang was much better than before. She was fully aware of Chen Xiang's abilities and methods, and felt that Chen Xiang might be able to obtain a lot of benefits from this place. Close the gate. If we continue to waste more time, we will lose a large amount of spiritual crystal. The half-crippled Fire Emperor of the Fire Divine Palace shouted from afar. Ji Wakewan and Xiao Profound Yun were feeling helpless at the moment. They sighed and nodded towards LV Qilian. They will return. You should all be well aware of how powerful your master and junior apprentice brother are. LV Qilian patted Xiao Profoundian's shoulders and ran towards the Fire Emperor, closing the door behind them. Everyone worked together to remove the formation plate that kept the door open before sealing the explosive force. Not only that, they also needed to reinforce this SPAC so that the powerful saint beasts in the heavenly realm wouldn't come running over. To them, this was a disaster. After opening the door for so long, the holy beasts inside knew that someone had entered, but they did not enter the nine-heaven world. They did not even manage to pass through the sky curtain. Come to think of it, after Chen Xiang was taken away by Ji Linger that day, Huang Jintian, who had escaped, had reunited with Mao. They had waited for today and returned to the mining area. Half of the holy stone that Huang Jintian obtained were given to cats, and he had them escort him out. On the way, Huang Jintian used the heaven-extended method to calculate the location of a few holy beasts, and then led the cats to attack them. On the way, they killed a few holy beasts, causing Huang Jintian to be unable to hide his smile. Just when Huang Jintian thought that he was going to return with a full load and return to the nine-heaven world, he realized that the door was gone. It. Huang Jintian stomped his feet in anger. There was a teleportation platform at the side, but only Chen Xiang could use that teleportation platform. Huang Jintian had no choice but to find a rock and engrave a few words on it before tossing it to the side of the teleportation portal. When Chen Xiang returned here, he would be able to see it and tell Chen Xiang to wait for him before taking him away. After doing all this, Huang Jintian returned to the forest in the heavenly realm to find a cat to help him kill the holy beast. When Mao left the area with the enchantment, she could use sacred energy. Huang Jintian also imparted some cultivation techniques to him, such as some of the dragon martial arts. They could make Mao stronger. Unknowingly, half a year had passed, while Chen Xiang was refining a level 2 immortal Yuxian Dan. Right now, he was using 3 pill furnaces, namely the Yanlong furnace, the 7-star treasure furnace, and a magic method furnace. Only by doing this could he increase his speed to 6 batches per day. After he revealed this move, Ji Linger was quite frightened, and it made her excited for a while, because this meant that Chen Xiang could refine a lot of pills that he could sell in a short amount of time. What Ji Linger admired the most was that Chen Xiang rarely failed, and he always produced 5 pills, and the quality was also good. 1,000 Yuling bamboo shoots have been refined. I have more than 5,000 Yuxian Dan now. Chen Xiang also felt a little tired, but he was happy because he was able to see Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu every day. Ji Linger helped them heal their injuries every day and forced them to use that kind of strange power. He had 3 beauties accompanying him. From time to time, they would give him some advantage, wipe his sweat, chat with him, or seduce him so that he wouldn't feel bored while concocting pills. They're almost done, but I still have some work to do. Ji Linger stretched lazily. Now that she knew Chun Xiang was an alchemist with a lot of potential, she got even closer to Chun Xiang because he had used half a year's time to refine more than 5,000 pellets of second-stage, immortal Yuxian Dan. This was equivalent to 50,000 kilograms of holy stone. Chun Xiang swallowed a Yuxian Dan and asked, "Why are you so busy? Isn't it just lying there watching me cultivate? I have to eat these Yuxian Dan next. This isn't an easy time." Chun Xiang swallowed a Yuxian Dan and asked, "Why are you so busy? Isn't it just lying there watching me cultivate? I have to eat these Yuxian Dan next. This isn't an easy time." Su Meiyao laughed tenderly. "I don't know how many people are envious of you for being able to eat so many Yuxian Dan-s in one go. You still think eating these pills is tiring. If word of this gets out, people will die of jealousy." She came behind Chun Xiang, took off Chun Xiang's clothes, and helped him go take a bath. She had already treated Chun Xiang as her own man, something that she should do. Ji Linger saw that Su Meiyao was treating Chun Xiang gently and tried to tease him. "Meiyao, I've worked so hard to treat your injuries, why don't I see how you treat me so well? Death spirit, do you want to steal my woman?" Chun Xiang had already entered the bathing pool and said while grinning. Every time he got tired from refining pills, he would come here to soak for a bit, and immediately become spirited. In order to provoke Chun Xiang, Ji Linger brought Bai Yu over. With a charming smile, she said, "You are mine in the future, don't even think about getting a hold of her, or else I won't forgive you." Bai Yu had long since gotten used to this kind of playfulness. Inside the serene jade ring, Long Shui and Su Meiyao did this frequently as well. She only smiled, then leaned on Ji Linger's soft chest. Chun Xiang laid on the side of the bath, looking at the two girls on the bed. Su Meiyao gently rubbed his thick and broad back. "You kissed me before. She's been mine since a long time ago." Chun Xiang giggled, making Bai Yu glare at him. Ji Linger was very surprised with this, because in the past half-year, she had understood Bai Yu, the cold beauty. Chun Xiang was most afraid of her, and she had always been looking at him with a gaze that could make Chun Xiang's greasy lips close. A hot, seductive lady like Su Meiyao, acting in an emotional manner towards her due to being lonely was not really a surprise to Ji Linger, as he was a very outstanding man after all. Seeing Ji Linger's astonished application, Chun Xiang was very pleased. Then, she grabbed onto that soft jade hand on his back and tugged with a little bit of strength, pulling Su Meiyao into the bath. "Ah!" Su Meiyao let out a lovely cry as she fell into the water. She, who was originally dressed lightly, had her alluring body soaked in water, making her look extremely alluring and charming. Ji Linger immediately frowned. She had a premonition that something bad was going to happen. As expected, Chun Xiang skillfully took off the thin layer on Su Meiyao's body. Halfway through writing, Su Meiyao's proud and beautiful body emitted a hazy jade light, making her look extremely holy and holy. However, it also possessed a devilish charm and temptation, so much so that even Ji Linger was struck dumb by it, let alone a close-up witness like Chun Xiang. In the past, she and Su Meiyao would be together, sleeping together, eating together, and bathing together. The two of them were very familiar with each other's bodies, but she still snorted lightly. "Little scoundrel, why didn't you greet him?" Su Meiyao laughed very charmingly, praising Chun Xiang. Just as she finished speaking, her charming lips were covered by Chun Xiang, and following that, the two of them started to kiss intensely. Chun Xiang's hands were greedily moving on Su Meiyao's perfect jade body. Bai Yu groaned. A screen on the side suddenly moved, blocking the two hungry and thirsty people inside the bath. Ji Linger, who was enjoying his time, stuck out his tongue and said in a low voice, "Yuan, Meiyao's body right now still can't handle that little scoundrel. They won't go overboard. It will have quite a huge impact on Meiyao." Bai Yu seemed to have already gotten used to it and softly replied, "It's all right, they had already done this before. That little scoundrel himself is clear that they are just messing around now. In the end, they will only make themselves feel uncomfortable." Yuan, were you able to use your divine power to control the movement of the screen just now? Your original strength should only be at the mid to late stage, Immortal King. Ji Linger praised. Junior sister and I both only came out after being heavily injured. It was all thanks to that little scoundrel. Bai Yu said, "We soaked in a type of liquid and then, we developed divine soul. We also did not expect that we would have divine soul so early." Ji Linger's beautiful eyes flickered. It seems that this little scoundrel is really quite capable. There are so many benefits to following him. Yes. Bai Yu nodded. There are indeed many benefits to following him. After the pause, Shaun had paused, said, Chen Xiang and Su Meiyao were wrapped up in a hug and soaked in a bath. Because Su Meiyao was still injured, he was not satisfied that Chen Xiang did not cross that line. After resting, Chen Xiang prepared to start his cultivation and take out a large box of Yuxian Dan. What was giving him a headache now was that it would take a very long time to digest these 5,000 Yuxian Dan. "I'm busy." Ji Linger suddenly came to Chen Xiang's side and lazily sat in front of him, looking at him. Chen Xiang was puzzled. "You already said that you were going to be busy earlier. What help do you have? Can you help me eat Yuxian Dan?" Ji Linger pounded his chest. "I'll help you cultivate. With this many Yuxian Dan, it'll take you a long time to refine them all by yourself. If you have me to help you with your cultivation, it'll be a lot faster. Is that okay too?" Chen Xiang looked at Bai Yu and Su Meiyao, who were sitting on the side of the bed. "Linger will not only help you refine the Yuxian Dan, she will also channel the sacred energy within her body to help you stabilize your foundation," Su Meiyao said. "Some of the more powerful seniors often assist the younger generation in this manner. There is no need to worry." Bai Yu helped Su Meiyao comb his hair, and it could be seen that all of them had this kind of experience. Ji Linger urged, "Hurry up and start, eat dozens or even hundreds of them in one go." Chen Xiang was a little worried. "I eat so much, what if I lose control and my stomach explodes?" Ji Linger chuckled. "If it explodes, then I will help you make up for it. If you want to quickly raise your strength, then you have to take the risk. You need to know that it is very rare to have a holy maiden to accompany you in cultivation." Chen Xiang clenched his teeth, grabbed a handful of Yuxian Dan, and stuffed it into his mouth. "It's not enough yet. Eat this box, you can gather 100 pills." Ji Linger pressed one jade hand onto Chen Xiang's abdomen, and the other on the location of his heart, then poured a somewhat hot power into it, causing Chen Xiang's stomach to stop expanding any further. Chen Xiang listened to her and grabbed another handful of Yuxian Dan to eat. Although the taste was good, he didn't feel like he was enjoying it at all. "You can start circulating and refining it," Ji Linger said in a serious tone. Chen Xiang circulated various cultivation techniques, and combined them together to circulate the energy, causing the medicinal energy that had exploded out to flow inside his body, expanding all of the veins in his body, making his body somewhat painful. Chen Xiang opened his eyes and frowned as he looked at Ji Linger. Although it wasn't as painful as he had imagined, it still made him feel extremely uncomfortable. Chen Xiang opened his eyes and frowned as he looked at Ji Linger. Although it wasn't as painful as he had imagined, it still made him feel extremely uncomfortable. "Endure it for a bit longer, and you'll be fine soon." Ji Linger's entire body was surrounded by a pale white mist, making her look extremely sacred. Coupled with her cold expression, she looked like holy maiden. At first, Chen Xiang felt that the energy that Ji Linger had given him was scorching hot, but now, he started to feel that it had become ice-cold. The medicinal power in his body was originally circulating extremely violently, almost bursting his meridians, but now it had slowed down and became much gentler. Before long, Chun Xiang could sense that inside his body, there was a large amount of Ji Linger's power. Ji Linger's saint force was very strong, and was able to suppress the berserk medicinal force very easily. If it wasn't for the suppression from the outside, Chun Xiang wouldn't dare to eat so many Yuxian danas, and would only be able to refine a small amount of Holy Spirit Qi every second during refining. But it was different now. He had a large amount of medicinal power in his body, and during refining, he would have more medicinal power every second than before. Ji Linger grew up here and absorbed the Holy Spirit's power since she was young. The Holy Spirit's power was pure in her body, and she herself had great talent, so the Holy Spirit power she injected into Chun Xiang's body could be of great help to him. "Linger, are you training in the Holy Bone?" Bai Yu suddenly asked. "Not yet. If I reach that realm, then I don't need to be looked down upon by those stubborn old fogies from the Ji clan." Ji Linger shook his head. "My bones are currently only at the purple gold rank. This little scoundrel is pure gold. His body of heavenly sage has reached large success, and then there's the platinum skeleton, and then there's the purple skeleton, and then there's the crystal skeleton above the purple skeleton, and finally there's the jade bone. The jade bone is the sacred bone." Chun Xiang said in surprise. "I never thought there would be such a long way to go. I thought I was close to the holy bone." Ji Linger snorted lightly. "If you get close to the holy bone, then even if you don't use the Holy Spirit Qi in your body, killing me with one palm isn't a problem." She strongly pressed onto Chun Xiang's chest and lightly shouted, "Don't speak, focus on your cultivation. You still have over 900 Yuxian Dan left to eat." After Chun Xiang entered his cultivation state, he sealed his 5 senses. At this time, Ji Linger was chatting with Su Meiyao and the others, so he didn't hear anything. As long as the heavenly cores in his body were able to absorb enough energy, they would become a little bigger, and the quality of the heavenly cores would suddenly soar. In the future, the saint force he used would be even stronger, which meant that he had broken through. With Ji Linger's help, in just 10 days, he refined 102nd stage Immortal Yuxian Dan. "I still feel that it's not enough. Take out a few holy stone and place it around you. While you absorb the holy energy from within the holy stone, merge it with the medicinal energy. When you refine it, you will be able to quickly refine the holy energy and pour it into the heaven pellet." Ji Linger said. Chun Xiang shyly took out more than 100 kilograms of holy stone. 100 kilograms was already a lot, even a immortal becoming realm ranker would fuss over it. "If my divine soul and saint force are strong enough, I might be able to control even more pill furnaces," Chun Xiang said. "When the time comes, the refining speed will be even faster." Ji Linger's eyes lit up, then quickly enter the immortal becoming realm. At that time, the sacred and divine powers will fuse together. Had also said it before, but Chun Xiang was still a little confused. He asked, "Linger, you train in divine soul as well, but why are you still using saint force?" "Sai, I only refined the divine soul after the 9th cycle of the immortal becoming realm. If I cultivate the divine soul before the immortal becoming realm and transform the divine pellet from the divine pellet to the divine pellet, then the divine pellet will merge with the divine soul and it will be known as the divine power." Ji Linger replied, "Don't you know? I don't really understand." In other words, when the time comes, God power can be used as saint force, and the original God power will also become stronger. Chun Xiang asked. "That's right, divine power is the power of divine soul and divine power is the power of divine power that the innate Qi transformed into after transcending worldly realm. When the two fuse together, it is sacred and powerful." Ji Linger said with envy, "You guys already have divine soul before you become 9 transformation saint. Once you step into the immortal becoming realm, the two of you can fuse together. For people like me, I would need a period of time to raise my divine soul." Chun Xiang said in antic. 1. Asian, at that time, can we use the G.O.D. wind or something like that? Ji Linger nodded. Furthermore, there won't be much of a commotion. What she was looking forward to was the scene of Chen Xiang controlling multiple pill furnaces in one go. Su Meiyao had told her before that Chen Xiang could control hundreds of pill furnaces and concoct a large number of pills in a short period of time. He just wanted to quickly enter the immortal becoming realm, and at that time, he would just have to return to the nine-heaven world. He wanted to obtain the things left behind by the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable, and look for traces of the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable. With the help of Ji Linger, the extremely strong holy maiden who Serpa said the immortal becoming realm, to refine the medicine, Chen Xiang could quickly refine the Yuxiandan, and without any problems. This way, his cultivation speed would increase a lot. No wonder Ji Linger said that he was confident that it could help him increase his strength. Long Shui had given her a lot of holy stone, which had helped her a lot. Right now, she was sleeping on a big bed made from holy stone snoring while holding a big sacred animal fruit in her hands. As she slept, she would occasionally take a bite. With Chen Xiang's way of eating it, he managed to eat all 5,000 Yuxiandan in a month. However, he did not feel bad about it at all, because the holy stone that was used to eat 3,000 kilograms was like cabbages in his eyes. Looks good, just eat another 10,000 pills, and you will be able to enter the intermediate immortal king stage. Chen Xiang's face was full of smiles. He predicted that in another 1 to 2 years, he would be able to advance into the intermediate stage of the immortal king stage. Ji Linger replied, if it was anyone else, they would have already entered the intermediate stage of the immortal king stage. You even have 10,000 pills. Chen Xiang had a lot of pills in his body, and his cultivation was 5 times that of other people. He said, I might even need 20,000 of heaven pellet. I have 5 in my body. So that's how it is. No wonder I keep feeling like your stomach is like a bottomless pit. Ji Linger exclaimed. He patted Chen Xiang's abdomen. They had already stayed here for more than half a year. Originally, Chen Xiang wanted to take Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu out for a stroll, but he was a little worried about other things happening because he was unwilling. Although the super old sacred city was very safe, Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu didn't have the slightest ability to protect themselves. After the 2 girls entered the Serenity Ring, Chen Xiang and Ji Linger left the secret room and walked out of the house, ready to buy a large amount of Yuxiandan medicine. Yuxiandan were not rare in the super old sacred city, so Chen Xiang was not afraid that he would not be able to buy it. Yuxiandan were not rare in the super old sacred city, so Chen Xiang was not afraid that he would not be able to buy it. Go back to that shop. How about I buy some 3rd-grade immortal Yuxiandan? The effect should be even better. Ji Linger said. Chen Xiang shook his head. I have just grasped a 2nd-grade immortal Yuxiandan, and if I go to refine a 3rd-grade spirit pellet, I will definitely fail many times before succeeding. After I have refined this for a period of time and become familiar with the other 2nd-grade immortal pills, I will then be able to start refining the 3rd-grade immortal pills. Ji Linger and Chen Xiang came to the pill shop last time. When the old man saw them come, he was not as enthusiastic as last time, because he had almost completed a huge business deal last time. You too, are you here to buy medicinal ingredients or immortal pills? Out of politeness, the shopkeeper asked with a smile. Last time, I bought 1,000 Yuling bamboo shoots. There were too many failures, and I could only concoct a few pills. Although it took a lot of time, it was still quite worth it. Chen Xiang laughed. Hearing his words, he knew that Su Yun still wanted to buy more Yuling bamboo shoots. The shopkeeper sighed and said, why would there be a need for that? It would be better to just buy a large amount of immortal pills. It would save you a lot of trouble and allow you to break through in a short period of time. Chen Xiang smiled and said, the road of cultivation is very normal after 10,000 years or so. I also do not need to save that bit of time. How much? The shopkeeper asked. For Chen Xiang to have this kind of mentality, it was indeed not bad. Of course, if he knew about Chen Xiang's abnormal pill refining speed, he wouldn't think this way. I want 4,000 gold coins, the same price as last time. I don't need you to give me any extra. Chen Xiang stretched out 4 fingers and laughed. The storekeeper took a light breath. I can only release 1,000 of them. A while ago, someone just happened to buy a large amount. It might take some time before the goods will be available. Ji Linger, who had been silent all this while, suddenly asked, Someone is sweeping the goods. We still have a lot here, but you should know that we need to leave a large portion of the storefronts, otherwise if others come to us and we cannot afford them, it will harm our reputation. The shopkeeper explained. Chen Xiang had run a medicine shop before, so he understood a lot about it. Many of the first, second, and third grade immortal grade in the sacred transformation arena have already been bought. Don't you know about what happened a while ago? Ji Linger said as his brows knitted together. Did something happen in the sky? Someone is actually spending so many holy stone S to sweep away so many medicinal ingredients. When this happens, there will usually be powerful individuals who start their own sections. Isn't that obvious? We'll know who it is after a while. Ji Linger and Chen Xiang left the shop and went to another store. In the end, they could only gather 1,000 Yuling bamboo shoot. I'm still 2,000 Yuling bamboo shoots, it's not enough. Chen Xiang sighed, if only he knew who the buyer was. As Chen Xiang walked on the street and muttered softly, he saw that Ji Linger had suddenly stopped in his tracks and looked towards the end of another street. There was a portrait of a beauty painted on it. It was Ji Linger and there were a few words written on the side. This was actually a bounty for Ji Linger. They said that Ji Linger colluded with outsiders and stole the 3 million Jin Holy Stone S from the Ji clan's Holy Stone mine, but in the end they did not know what was going on. Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to her. It seems like Ji clan does not dare to spread the matter of the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. Moreover, they think that I have kidnapped you. I can't stay here anymore. I have to find another place. Ji Linger pulled Chen Xiang and quickly left the place. Why? Chen Xiang was a little doubtful. I'm afraid they have other ways of finding me. Ji Linger said in a serious voice. We can't go back to that place, go to the Heaven Sacred District, it's safe there, they won't dare to casually capture me. Ji Linger had told him about the Heaven Sacred District before. They were all experts who had completed the 9 transformation saint. As long as they did not break the rules of the super old sacred city, if anyone tried to kidnap or kill someone inside, they would all be severely punished. However, entering the Heaven Sacred District required one to pay 100,000 kilograms, and one could stay there for 100 years. Through the transmission array, Ji Linger and Chen Xiang arrived outside the Heaven Sacred District. This Heaven Sacred District did not have a tall and big wall surrounding them, but there was a very powerful barrier around them. At this time, Chen Xiang was standing outside the transparent barrier, and he could feel how powerful it was. If he tried to break through, he might turn into dust, which would cause him to suddenly think that there was a large amount of energy source array bases in the Heaven Sacred District, otherwise he wouldn't be able to create such a terrifying barrier. It was the entrance to the Heaven Sacred District. From afar, the bronze door looked very grand. There were a few old scars on it, as though it had been attacked countless times, and it was filled with an ancient aura. The streets were sp. Sious and clean, but it was not as lively as the other places. After all, those who could enter this place were the strongest people in the capital, and their numbers were limited. There was a small house beside the huge bronze door. Ji Linger brought Chen Xiang and walked over, as she took out 200,000 holy stone and shouted to a middle-aged man inside, "Give me 2 pas, a drop of blood." The middle-aged man took out 2 bronze tablets, and threw it on the counter. Ji Linger cut his finger with his dagger and dripped a few drops of blood. causing the bronze tablet to glow green, and then floated towards Ji Ling. Chen Xiang was completely bewildered. He didn't understand why he would do such a thing. Quick, drip some blood, Ji Linger urged. When the big-sized man saw how weak Chen Xiang was, he knew that it was his first time here. He then explained, after you bind it with blood, this bronze tablet will be your pa's, and it will be effective for 100 years. Once a 100 years has pa's said, the energy will disappear, and if the law enforcement saint finds out that your plate is ineffective, he will chase you out. Also, if you die in the Heaven Sacred District, the enforcement hall will immediately sense you. If you are in trouble, you can also use the bronze plate to call for help. The enforcement saints near you will immediately rush over to save you. Chen Xiang did not expect this item to be so high-leveled, and quickly dripped with blood to buy it. The 100,000 holy stones are not for free. It is equivalent to paying a protection fee. However, if they are famous villains, if they are recognized inside, their fates will be the same. Ji Linger thought for a while, took out another 200,000 kilograms of holy stone, and said to the middle-aged man, buy another 2, and use it to prolong your life in the future. Ji Linger used up 400,000 kilograms of holy stone. In the eyes of this middle-aged man, it was considered very extravagant, because normally, saints would take 100 years to gather 100,000 kilograms of holy stone, and quicker ones would take several decades. Ji Linger used up 400,000 kilograms of holy stone. In the eyes of this middle-aged man, it was considered very extravagant, because normally, saints would take 100 years to gather 100,000 kilograms of holy stone, and quicker ones would take several decades. Chen Xiang knew that Ji Linger had bought them for Su Meiyao. In the future, he could bring them out to shop, and he wasn't afraid of danger at all. This made him feel very grateful. Ji Linger knew that Chen Xiang could earn a lot of holy stones in the future, which was why she was so straightforward. In truth, the Heaven Sacred District was only the rich district. Anyone who could enter here did not care about the 100,000 Jin holy stone, and there was of course a small portion of people who entered in order to avoid the powerful enemies. Most of the things here are very expensive. Back then, I worked hard here for a long time, but I only managed to create a very small cave. Ji Linger brought Chen Xiang and walked towards the large mountain in the distance. She saw Chen Xiang's strange expression and explained, you should be able to see that there are many mountains in Heaven Sacred District, and there are also many caves there. Even if it's for us poor people, it would be very safe inside those caves, don't worry. Chen Xiang looked at the tall and big stone buildings that rose from the ground in the middle of the Heaven Sacred District. That place? Chen Xiang asked. Don't even think about it, that place is outrageously expensive. Buying a room would cost several tens of thousands of kilograms of holy stone. Some of the more expensive houses might not be able to buy them without hundreds of millions of kilograms of holy stone. Ji Linger lamented. Chen Xiang was a little confused. These things are so expensive, then why would your Ji clan be angry over those 3 million holy stone? For a large clan, there is no shortage of these holy stone. Ji Linger led Chen Xiang towards the large mountain and explained, Ji clan can only earn a few tens of millions of kilograms of holy stone every 100 years, and it still needs a large group of people to raise and maintain many array formations and barriers, and it itself also needs to be accessed a bit, so 300 holy stones are still very important to Ji clan. It's equivalent to him being taken away by a few million kilograms of holy stone for 100 years. Do you think they would be in a hurry? Chen Xiang nodded. So your Ji clan can't even be considered a great clan of Tiandu after all. Ji Linger sneered. If it wasn't for the wealth of those old fellows' descendants, our Ji clan must have an estate here. In these past few tens of thousands of years, it was those little brats who had tormented Ji clan to such an extent, yet they were so harsh on me. And thanks to my own hard work, I managed to get myself ranked 12 on the Saintess list. If G Clan had been willing to support me behind my back, I would not have had a problem getting in the top 3. Ji Linger's voice was filled with resentment. Chen Xiang laughed. Seems like you also want to enter the Saintess list. Your father is the patriarch of the Ji Clan, why doesn't he help you? Ji Linger sighed. Don't mention it, he's not going to speak alone. He wants all the elders to agree, but there are only a few elders on my father's side, so it's useless. Humph! She snorted unwillingly. Originally, I was the worst amongst the group of Holy Maiden, and was even wanted by the Ji Clan. Those Holy Maiden all had the support of a large clan, and most of them are in the most luxurious area of the Heaven Sacred District, while I can only live in the cave. I have to see the people from the Heaven Sacred District to choose a Holy Maiden, so I don't have a chance. Chen Xiang chuckled. You previously said that you don't care about the Holy Maiden, so it turns out that you care a lot, but I didn't expect that you would have to use your father for the Holy Maiden selection. It wasn't really that big of a deal. Ji Linger snorted. I don't care, but I originally wanted to bring honor to the Ji Clan, who would have thought that by sticking close to a cold bee, I would be met with the supercilious looks of all the elders. More than half of their sons are doing well in the Heaven Sacred District, buying many businesses, only then are they getting these holy stones that have secretly taken over the Ji Clan. Now, Chen Xiang more clearly understood why Ji Linger had deviated from the Ji Clan. Moreover, it was a very good opportunity, and the development now was even better than what she had imagined. Chen Xiang followed her to the stone mountain, and came to the front of a cave. She took out a jade key, and opened the cave's stone door, releasing some restrictions, and brought Chen Xiang in. This cave dwelling was beyond Chen Xiang's expectations, better than he had imagined. In the center was an exquisite little hall, with 2 doors at the side. There were 2 stone rooms inside, one for the bedroom, and the other for the training room. How much did you buy here? Chen Xiang looked at the large luminous pearl at the center of the hall and said with a smile, Not bad. I bought it with 80,000 kilograms of holy stone. Ji Linger laughed and said, If you are willing to, before long, we can buy a luxurious house in the central region. Chen Xiang curled his lips. Is there any use in buying those things? It's more important to raise my strength. Moreover, I still have a lot of things to do in 9 Heaven World. It's not that much of a use, but there's a sense of superiority in that place. Think carefully, there really isn't any need for that. Ji Linger giggled. If you have a large number of holy stone, it would be more useful to buy high-quality immortal pills. With absolute strength, you shouldn't be afraid of others looking down on you. Chen Xiang bent down and laughed. With absolute strength, you will not even be afraid of your enemies in Heaven's Sacred District, and that will be very fun. That's asking to die. When Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu came out of the ring, Ji Linger gave them the 2 bronze tags so that they could fuse and drip blood. Meiyao, you guys follow me, I will buy some pretty clothes for you guys. Ji Linger pulled Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu, and was about to leave the cave. Chen Xiang anxiously shouted, Is this really alright? I'm a bit worried. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu never left Chen Xiang's side, which made him extremely worried. Then don't concoct pills, just come with us. If something happens, just hide them, Ji Linger said. Just like that, Chen Xiang followed the 3 girls to the Heaven Sacred District, where they rented a carriage. Chen Xiang was in charge of driving the carriage, and the 3 girls were chatting inside. It had been a long time since they last went out for a stroll, and furthermore, they were in a place with a forest of experts. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu, who did not have any strength, were still a little worried, but they believed in Ji Linger's strength. When they came out to take a breath of fresh air, Chen Xiang was also very happy. The horse carriage stopped outside of the city. No one was allowed to enter on this type of carriage. They could only walk or ride the required flying magical equipment. In order to prevent trouble, Su Meiyao and the other two girls had disguised themselves to make themselves less conspicuous, while Chen Xiang, dressed as his follower, followed behind the three girls leisurely. In order to take into account Chen Xiang's feelings, Ji Linger planned to first bring Chen Xiang to the medicine store to see if he could buy any grade 2 immortal Yuling bamboo shoot. Chen Xiang's group had weak overall strength, but some people did not think that it was so. Everyone here had some skills, maybe it was just to disguise themselves. Chen Xiang's group had weak overall strength, but some people did not think that it was so. Everyone here had some skills, maybe it was just to disguise themselves. The building was over 60 stories tall, but it was relatively short in this area. The entire building gave off a feeling of being made of stone, like it was made of steel. It was pitch black, not like a pill seller at all. However, this was indeed a medicine store, and it was owned by a large family. Coming here, Chen Xiang understood why he chose to build a heaven-sacred district here. It was because the Holy Spirit Qi here was much denser than in other places. Cultivating here for 100 years, it would last for hundreds to 1,000 years. In the middle of the first floor of the Myriad Treasures store was a large pill furnace. It was placed there like a small house. There were white flames burning inside, but no one could feel the heat. "I have someone I know here," Ji Linger whispered to Chen Xiang and the others. "Even if you're ident. 1. Tai is exposed, you don't have to worry." Chen Xiang was a little worried that his possession of the Green Dragon Demon-Slain broadsword would be exposed, hence Ji Linger told him this. Here, there were many chairs. Chen Xiang, Bai Yuyu and the others sat down and waited, while Ji Linger went to a young man in charge of sending messages. Very quickly, a beautiful middle-aged woman came down from the stairs and brought Ji Linger up. Chen Xiang and the others waited for a while, but Ji Linger came back soon after. "What did you find out?" Chen Xiang whispered. When Ji Linger returned, he had been frowning and knew that there would be no good news. "This is going to be difficult. The old man was right, there will be a new power rising up soon, and in order to recruit people with potential, we have gathered a large amount of medicinal ingredients, allowing a large number of alchemists to refine them. Before long, they will be able to gather a large amount of medicinal pills, and at that time we will be able to find a lot of seedlings with good potential." Ji Linger sighed. "Then what about here? Are they for sale?" Chen Xiang was more concerned with this. "No, all of the first, second and third grade immortal grades medicinal herbs have been swept away in one go. Now, all that is stored in those stores are just stock, and if they wanted to support their reputation, they would not sell it. Unless you offered a high price, it would not be worth it." Ji Linger shook his head. To be able to buy such a large amount of medicinal herbs in one go, Chen Xiang must have used a lot of holy stones. "Do you know who bought it?" Su Meiyao asked, her beautiful eyes flickering with a bright light. "If we can contact them and get little scoundrel to help them refine the pellets, they might not even need to return the favor." Hearing Su Meiyao's suggestion, Ji Linger immediately understood what she meant. She wanted Chen Xiang to refine pills, but normally, only one would be given to him. "I know. The 3 Holy Maiden bought them. These 3 women used to be in the top 3 of the Holy Maiden. They were all my mortal enemies," Ji Linger said in displeasure. "Their strength should be on par with yours. This way they can start their own sect." Chen Xiang was a little surprised. According to his guess, that person should be a very strong person. Of course it wasn't them who established the sect, it was the person behind them. It seems to be their master. It is said that she is an extremely powerful old woman, a grandmaster who knows how to refine saint weapons and is extremely powerful. Ji Linger said again. Chen Xiang said, "Just tell me the location and I will go myself. They should be needing a large number of alchemists right now." Chen Xiang glanced at Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu, and they both nodded, as they were willing to temporarily separate from Chen Xiang. "All right, I'll definitely protect them." Ji Linger knew the feelings between Chen Xiang and Su Meiyao. This was the first time in many years that they had separated. After receiving the address from Ji Linger, Chen Xiang bid his farewell to the three women and then arranged to meet at a place. Because they were inside the heaven-sacred district, Chen Xiang was more at ease. Before, when he was on his way here, he had seen a few law enforcement saints, and he could feel their valiant auras from afar. They were all extremely powerful, and would not hold back against people who broke the rules. If the law enforcement saints could not handle this, it would be when an elder came out from the law enforcement hall. Chen Xiang walked for more than an hour before arriving at a tall stone building called the Three Sunsets Pavilion. At the moment, there were many people queuing up from the inside of the building to the outside of the street. They are all alchemists. Chen Xiang exclaimed in his heart. The strength of these alchemists were not weak. Most of them were saints who had completed the 9 revolutions saints, and the flames in their bodies were extremely strong. However, the unintentional release of the hot air from these people's bodies made the entire street feel hot. Quite a few alchemists walked out of the building. They looked dejected, and just by looking at them, one could tell that they did not pass. Chen Xiang stood at the back of the group and patiently waited, but his arrival caught the attention of many people, because the aura being released from his body was too weak. People of this level should be in the sacred transformation arena, but holy stone that came to this place should come from some small and medium-sized forces, so no one underestimated him. They just felt that he shouldn't have come. In this place, the difference in strength was one of the criteria for evaluating the pill refining level. There were so many rankers who had completed their transformation into saints that they were unable to pass. Thus, in the eyes of many people, Chen Xiang was just not able to pass the Tri-Aurora Restaurant's examination. The 3 Aurora Pavilion was also selling medicinal pellets, but it suddenly stopped during this period of time. It was still buying medicinal ingredients from many large pill stores in Super Old Sacred City, and was currently recruiting a large number of alchemists. Previously, Ji Linger had told Chen Xiang that the ones in charge of managing this matter were 3 powerful holy maiden, and they had also created this 3 Aurora restaurant. Chen Xiang waited from day to night until it was finally his turn. The recruitment examination was also held throughout the night, which showed how urgent 3 Dawn Tower was. Chen Xiang was brought to a pill refining room. During the examination, he would definitely need to concoct a batch of pills and finish it within the specified time, and then he would be able to pass. But there was only a chair here, and a beautiful woman wearing a fiery red dress was sitting there. When she saw Chen Xiang, she slightly frowned her brows. She never thought that alchemist, who had such strength, would also come here, but she did not say anything. "What kind of pills are you good at?" the woman in red asked. Within her beautiful and bright eyes, 2 bright red flames suddenly appeared, startling Chen Xiang. The other party's flames were extremely strong, actually causing the flames in Chen Xiang's body to become restless. Chen Xiang took a deep breath and suppressed the strong flames in his body. This was because all of the alchemists in the past could not pass her test, and now, she did not underestimate Chen Xiang. This was because the majority of the alchemists that could control such powerful flames all had fire soul and had to undergo many types of tempering before being able to obtain them. This was because all of the alchemists in the past could not pass her test, and now, she did not underestimate Chen Xiang. This was because the majority of the alchemists that could control such powerful flames all had fire soul and had to undergo many types of tempering before being able to obtain them. Currently, I am only at the 2nd rank of the immortal realm. I can be considered to be more proficient in this kind of pill. Chen Xiang suppressed the flames in his body that were about to explode, and said indifferently. The red-clothed female nodded her head and stood up. She cleaned up everything, indicating that Chen Xiang should sit on a clean carpet in front of her. This is a 2nd-grade immortal Yuling bamboo shoot. Take a look and see if you're satisfied. If you feel that it's not good, I can help you exchange. The lady in red was suddenly very curious. She wanted to know what Chen Xiang's alchemy level was and how weak his strength was, but his control over his flames was stronger than many strong warriors. Satisfied, seeing that the Yuling bamboo shoot's quality was not bad, Chen Xiang nodded his head. Pill refining will require some time. Will this be delaying you? The lady in red smiled slightly. It's all right. It's not like I'm the only one in charge of the exam. Besides, many alchemists won't be able to pass the previous stage. Chen Xiang sat on the soft white carpet and took out his Yanlong furnace, preparing to refine it into a Yuxian Dan. Previously, Ji Linger had told him that the 3 holy daughters of the 3 Aurora Pavilion were called Hong Xia, Zi Xia and Bai Xia. They were all martial sisters, and their master was a very famous ranker who was extremely rich. As for the red-clothed female in front of him, Chen Xiang felt that she was the holy daughter of Red Cloud. Chen Xiang felt that the power exuding from her body was as strong as Ji Linger. Red Dawn was not sitting on a chair but was walking around Chen Xiang with her beautiful eyes fixed on Chen Xiang, who was seriously concocting pills. Although Chen Xiang knew about this, he was very calm. At this moment, someone lightly knocked on the door, and Red Dawn shouted, "Come in." The one who entered was a woman wearing a white tight suit. She was dressed very simply, as if she wanted to fight. This woman in white looked somewhat similar to the Red Clouds, which made Chen Xiang think that she should be the White Cloud Holy Maiden that Ji Linger mentioned. The 3 holy daughters of the 3 Aurora restaurant were actually 3 sisters. Third sister, what's going on here? Nothing happened for so long. The White Clouds came in and saw someone was concocting pills. She asked, "What pill is he concocting?" The Red Cloud pulled her to the side and whispered, "A second stage immortal Yuxian Dan, although he is very weak, he has very good control over the flames. Even the Holy Spirit fire in my body is unable to interfere with his flame's emotions, and this sort of thing rarely happens. He seems to be able to easily resist my interference." "Ah!" Bai Xia exclaimed softly. "How is that possible? Your Holy Spirit fire is so powerful, even some of the famous Dan Immortales find it difficult to resist her, but this brat." "That's right, he said that he can refine second stage immortal stage Yuxian Dan, but his current cultivation is not high, not even immortal becoming realm, so I want to see, second sister, explain to Big Sis, don't let her think that I'm slacking off." Hong Xia said with a smile. "He would need at least a day to refine a Yuxian Dan. Alright, now you can be openly lazy." Bai Xia wrinkled her nose and chuckled. After Bai Xia left, the red light continued to turn around Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang had heard their conversation just now, and it looked like he was concocting pills seriously. However, he was on guard at all times, unable to hide anything from him. "Little naughty dragon, wake up, what is a Holy Spirit fire?" Chen Xiang used his divine sense to call Long Shui, who was sleeping soundly in the ring. After a few consecutive rounds, Long Shui finally woke up in a daze. With half-opened eyes, he said, "Anyone who has this fire soul can use sacred fire, but this is only one of the special characteristics. Even more amazing is that people with this fire soul can use their emotions to infect the flames or fire soul in other people's bodies." "What's the use of that?" Chen Xiang asked. "It's extremely useful. It's equivalent to directly controlling the flames in another person's body, making the fire soul and flames in another person's body listen to their orders. Not only that, it's useful for beasts as well as naturally formed flames." Long Shui sobered up. "You've met a guy with this kind of fire soul." "That's right. She's still around me, a woman." After Chen Xiang finished speaking, he told her in detail about Red Cloud's ident. "One Tai." Long Shui laughed. "You better be careful, the Holy Spirit fire's spirit is very strong, if you get targeted, it will be very troublesome." Hearing this, Chen Xiang was a little worried in his heart. If I were to be targeted, what kind of trouble would there be? I don't even have a fire soul anymore. I have already fused with the other things in my body, so I should be fine. This sacred flame has another miraculous characteristic. If you have a very strong fire soul, as long as the Holy Spirit fire catches some of the soul remembrance of the fire soul in your body, the Holy Spirit fire will imitate your fire soul. If she can record 10 types of soul remembrances, she can transform into 10 different types of soul pets and use different types of flames. Long Shui chuckled. But this woman doesn't seem to have met with a fire soul that satisfied her, so now, what will happen? Chen Xiang anxiously asked. You only know a few methods to capture your soul remembrance, and this will usually make you suffer a bit. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang suddenly had a worry in this regard. Right now, the red clouds was wandering around him, making him feel uneasy. While he was deep in worry, he suddenly felt a warm jade hand on his cheek. He did not use a transformation technique to change his appearance, so his overall appearance was still pretty good. Being touched by the red clouds, Chen Xiang felt good, but he was more worried. He opened his eyes and looked at red clouds. Hong Xia's hand was still on his perspiring face. She didn't think that Chen Xiang wouldn't be so focused on concocting pills. She had thought that Chen Xiang would be completely unaware of his surroundings. Miss, what are you doing? Chen Xiang opened her eyes wide, looking at Red Dawn's beautiful face that carried a trace of awkwardness. I'm wiping your sweat. Hong Xia anxiously took out a silk handkerchief and blushed as she wiped the perspiration off Chen Xiang's face. Thank you. Chen Xiang forced a smile and said, this was the Red Holy Daughter who was ranked in the top 3 of the Holy Maiden ranking. She was actually helping him wipe his sweat, but he couldn't help to feel happy in his heart. He felt that he was like a lamb who was targeted by a female wolf. Red Cloud softly laughed, but she was a little puzzled. Are you very hot right now? Why do you keep wiping more and more? You shouldn't be afraid of the hot stuff. Of course Chen Xiang was not afraid of the heat, but he was afraid of her, since the difference in strength was too great. If this Hong Qi made a move on him, he could only surrender without holding back. Chen Xiang looked at her while he refined the pills. He was distracted during the process of concocting pills, and was even able to keep the furnace from exploding. Chen Xiang looked at her while he refined the pills. He was distracted during the process of concocting pills, and was even able to keep the furnace from exploding. What's wrong with you? Seeing Chen Xiang's strange expression, as though she was afraid of something, Hong Xia asked. I don't know if you are the legendary Red Sunlight Holy Maiden. Chen Xiang asked carefully. Red Cloud smiled sweetly. I thought you wouldn't recognize me. Chen Xiang forced out a smile. I didn't know him in the first place, but just now, when your second sister, Holy Maiden Baixia, came in, I just thought of it. I didn't expect that you two would actually come personally and do such a thing. You are quite calm. Many people who see us sisters are not like you. Hong Xia seemed to understand why Chen Xiang was suddenly sweating. I apologize here, because I'm used to being cautious in unfamiliar situations, so I heard your conversation just now. I have also heard the rumors about the Holy Spirit fire. That's why I'm worried. Chen Xiang revealed the worry in his heart. He could tell that this Red Cloud Holy Maiden was not one of those unreasonable evil women. Hong Xia giggled and wiped the sweat off Chen Xiang's forehead. You were worried that I would eat you, since you have a very strange and complicated fire soul in your body. I do have an idea to imitate your fire soul. But if it wasn't your wish, I wouldn't have been able to do it even if I had to. If I wanted to imitate your fire soul, you first need to have no thoughts of resisting, and let my fire soul's consciousness enter your body, merge with your fire soul, and then have a period of fusion. This process won't be that easy. Hong Xia explained with a smile. Chen Xiang heaved a sigh of relief and laughed. You scared me to death, but to be able to get Big Sister Holy Maiden to wipe my sweat, it's worth it even if I get eaten. Red Cloud giggled and said, You talkative brat, refine the pills properly. If you do well, I will arrange everything for you in the future. Sister Hong, can you let me refine all the grade 2 immortal Yuxiandan? Chen Xiang asked. He felt that this woman was not bad, although she was an. Oh, Blee Holy Maiden, she did not have that kind of high and mighty attitude. Instead, she was easy to approach, and was very beautiful, and very gentle to people. This is a little difficult. Although we are in charge of purchasing the medicinal ingredients, we are not in charge of them. Red Cloud softly sighed. If we three sisters were really that capable, we wouldn't have come out all day to do these chores. Yes. There are still many powerful people above us, so we three sisters have to listen to them. Chen Xiang was a little surprised. He did not think that the three holy maiden ranked in the top 3 would be as impressive as they had imagined. He felt that the reason Red Dawn was able to tell him all this was to give him some sort of signal. This made him even more curious about the great power that was about to be established. If you pass, you can choose to join the big sect that we are about to set up. If you perform well, there will definitely be a lot of preferential treatment. The Red Clouds continued. I only wish to refine some pills and get some compensation. I have no intention of joining any other powers. Chen Xiang then lowered his voice. Sister Hong, is there any other way to help me refine a 2nd-grade immortal Yuxiandan? I will give you some compensation when the time comes. Although she had the powerful fire soul, her fire soul was not suitable for refining pills. On the other hand, Chen Xiang felt that her looks were similar to Ji Linger in terms of earning Holy Stone S. Interesting. Tell me, what kind of reward can you give me? Also, why are you refining a 2nd-grade immortal Yuxiandan? Red Dawn squatted beside Chen Xiang and looked at him with interest. Chen Xiang asked, what is the standard for refining a level 2 immortal Yuxiandan? What do you want in order to qualify? Red Cloud immediately replied, if you want to refine 1 Yuling bamboo shoots, you have to produce one of high quality. Chen Xiang laughed. If I can refine 2 pills, then the rest can belong to me. Right now, the pill furnace was already in the core formation stage. It was just that Chen Xiang had yet to separate the BALS of air. If everything was settled, he would condense more pills, prove his strength, and then combine with the Red Clouds to secretly make a profit. Hearing Chen Xiang's words, Red Cloud suddenly understood. You really can do it? Hong Xia asked in a low voice. If that's the case, you can take 1 extra. Chen Xiang laughed. How can I accept it? I will give some points to you, but the condition is that you have to buy me the chance to refine a large amount of Yuxiandan. After saying that, the Yanlong furnace started to sway. When the Red Clouds saw it, their faces were filled with surprise, which meant that it had entered the core formation stage. Then you have to show me your ability. Red Cloud said, you'll see. Chen Xiang smiled confidently. Using the array inside the Yanlong furnace to speed up, Chen Xiang could do it much faster than usual. Furthermore, he was very familiar with the way to refine Yuxiandan. He spent a total of about 8 hours to do this, and it was only with his full strength that he was able to do this. Before, she had noticed that Chen Xiang was not ordinary, especially the control over his flames. Done. Seeing Chen Xiang keeping the flames, Red Cloud asked in shock. Because this speed could be said to be extremely fast, and only the most outstanding Dan Immortal could achieve this. Open the pill furnace and take a look. Chen Xiang nodded. Red Cloud personally opened the lid of the pill furnace and a warm breath came out. A white light accompanied by a medicinal fragrance drifted out. When she looked carefully, she thought that she had seen wrongly because there were 5 Yuxiandan S in the pill furnace. Is this true? Red Cloud took out the Yuxiandan S in disbelief. 5 white Dan King S laid quietly in her jade palm, emitting a gentle white light and a sense of warmth. It was obvious that they had just come out of the furnace. Now you should know why I wanted to refine Yuxiandan. I originally wanted to buy the ingredients myself, but who knows when you bought them all? Chen Xiang said helplessly. Can we work together now? The more powerful Dan Immortal can at most refine 3 of them, but you can actually refine 5 of them. Chen Xiang laughed. The specifics are very complicated, you only need to know that I can refine 5 Yuxian Dan-s in one go. If you help me, I can get the task of refining a large amount of Yuxian Dan-s. I will continue with the Yuxian Dan to increase my strength, so I can't share too much with you. Chen Xiang said. Right now I only know how to refine Yuxian Dan. Only by eating a Yuxian Dan would Red Dawn be able to verify the authenticity of these Yuxian Dan. She still didn't quite believe it. Only by eating a Yuxian Dan would Red Dawn be able to verify the authenticity of these Yuxian Dan. She still didn't quite believe it. After eating, she had no choice but to believe that the Yuxian Dan that Chen Xiang refined was of good quality. He was definitely a genius in alchemy, causing her to have a yearning for talent. I'll try my best to help you fight for it. The speed at which you refine Yuxian Dan is that fast, so there's a high chance that I'll get my big sis and second sis to help out again. Red Dawn had given 3 Yuxian Dan-s, Chen Xiang, and their cooperation had already started. You have to tell your sisters. Chen Xiang asked. They are my blood sisters. If there's anything good, I'll definitely think of them. Don't worry, I've been with them for a long time and we have great trust in each other. I know they won't leak this out. Red Cloud said, You can come back tomorrow. You can go back for now. Red Cloud gave a plate of Chen Xiang. This was the proof of passing the examination. Right, what's your name? Red Cloud suddenly thought of this matter. Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang was not afraid to reveal his name, and the only person who knew him was probably Ji Linger. And remember to come tomorrow. Don't forget, I will help you fight for it today. Red Cloud reminded him. Chen Xiang nodded his head, then left the 3 Aurora Pavilion with a good mood, and returned to the cave that Ji Linger bought outside the city. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu followed Ji Linger as they strolled around Heaven's sacred district buying a lot of things. Linger. Chen Xiang knocked on the stone door of the cave and shouted. Ji Linger opened the stone door, and after seeing Chen Xiang, he asked, How is it? Let's go in first. At this moment, Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were arranging the beautiful clothes that they had just bought. Ji Linger invited him to sit down and poured some sweet spring water for them. The one who is in charge of interviewing me is the saint daughter of Red Clouds. Chen Xiang said. It's actually her. She's the Holy Maiden rank 3rd, but I heard that they're preparing to withdraw from the Holy Maiden election and focus on taking care of the sect their master created. Ji Linger replied, The results are right. It could be said that everything went smoothly. Chen Xiang drank a mouthful of water. These were all things that Ji Linger and the others had just bought. It was so satisfying that Chen Xiang trembled a little. It's just that some things that I didn't expect happened. The 3 Sons Holy Maiden is one of the 3 sisters. She is not as impressive as she looks on the surface. She should only be considered as a lowly servant, slightly better than the others. Chen Xiang said. So they do not have the authority to let me refine a large number of Yuling bamboo shoots. Then you cooperated with them in order to win them over. Su Meiyao could tell immediately. I'll cooperate with Red Dawn so I can refine 5 Yuxian Dan for her to see. After that, I can give 1 pellet to her each time in exchange for that. Chen Xiang looked at Ji Linger and asked, How are the 3 sisters? Ji Linger said seriously. Their people are not bad, they helped me before, but when I killed the holy beasts they insisted on having the beast pills and gave me that broken corpse, so in the end they had some conflicts, and when they were ranked in the top 3, they even beat me up a little. That's good. Chen Xiang nodded. Apart from these, nothing else has happened. Logically speaking, it's impossible for you to talk so fast. Asked. Red Cloud was a holy daughter, and although Chen Xiang was pretty good-looking, she was still a kid with a low cultivation. Then, Chen Xiang told them about the Holy Spirit fire. So that's how it is. Red clouds can't settle your fire soul, no wonder she's so interested in you. Ji Linger laughed. You might be in some trouble. On the contrary, Chen Xiang didn't think so. He felt that the Red Cloud Holy Woman was very good, making him feel close to her. Furthermore, the Red Dawn Holy Maiden had said that they had to agree on something. Linger, do the three of them really have no status at all? Chen Xiang asked curiously. Their strength is about the same as me, and they are only in the top 3 of the Holy Maiden. I've been so poor, but at most they are only a little better than me. Hearing you say this, I feel that behind them is not only a single master, but also a large group of people. Ji Linger snorted. Women do not have absolute strength here, what status do they have? I will be concocting pills there, you guys stay here and have fun. After I break through, I will think of a way to earn some holy stone. Qin Xiang said, Are there enough holy stones? Enough, I won't cultivate for now. If I just buy some small things, I won't be able to use them all. Ji Linger looked at Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu. I will bring them for a good stroll around here. Don't worry and go back to concoct pills. Come back when it's about time, I'll help you cultivate. The next day, Chen Xiang arrived early the next day. With his jade tablet, he very quickly saw the Red Cloud. Red Dawn brought him to a secret room. With a face full of smiles, he could tell that everything was going smoothly on her side. This is 7,000 Yuling bamboo shoots, you can slowly refine it. When the time comes, don't forget about me. We 3 sisters had great difficulty obtaining it. Hong Xia Pas said a storage bag to Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang received it and nodded with a smile on his face. Sister Hong, wasn't that sect founded by your master? You should have a lot of power. Chen Xiang asked. It was created by our martial uncle. My master was only invited to join, and those with more authority are all my martial uncle's people, and my martial uncle's disciples, including our senior brothers, are all more powerful than us 3 sisters. Not to mention my martial uncle's trusted elders, we are just doing odd jobs. Hong Xia sighed helplessly and said, Moreover, the rewards are very low as well. If necessary, they would let us marry out and form some connections with some of the big powers. Chen Xiang said in shock. You guys can also endure it like that, it's fine if your master wants you to marry him, but that senior master of yours has HI plus TTY relations. HI plus P with you guys, it's not like he's the one who raised you. If it really happened, we would probably end up like that Ji Linger. However, Ji Linger is much better. He would have taken away at least 150 kilograms of holy stone. If I need any help later, I can provide some. Chen Xiang laughed. You should start concocting the pills properly. I won't bother you anymore. If you need anything, just come find me. I will stay here forever. Red Cloud said. Hong Xia thought highly of Chen Xiang, and Chen Xiang also thought highly of her. This was because she had the Holy Spirit fire in her body, so she might be able to become a strong female fire emperor in the future. Chen Xiang had opened the array formation for this secret room, and was unable to open the door from the outside. This was because he had some skills that could not be seen by others while he was refining pills. 7,000 batches, looks like I'll have to use Dewan refining method, if not who knows how many years I'll have to refine it. Chen Xiang looked at the mountains of Yuling bamboo shoots. After refining, he would have more than 20,000 pills. In a situation where he was unable to purchase a Yuling bamboo shoots, he felt that this transaction was very worthwhile. In order to complete the mission quickly, Chen Xiang had to use his utmost strength to release 3 magic method furnaces. Adding his own Yanlong Furnace S and his 7 Stars Treasure Furnace, there were 5 in total. In order to complete the mission quickly, Chen Xiang had to use his utmost strength to release 3 Magic Method Furnaces. Adding his own Yanlong Furnace S and his 7 Stars Treasure Furnace, there were 5 in total. Even so, he could only refine 15 batches a day, which meant that he had to refine a total of 7,000 batches. It would take a very long time, especially for the other alchemists. Chen Xiang still found it slow, but that was only for him. For the people of this sky capital, concocting so many furnace pills was a very normal thing to do, even if they used it for a dozen or 20 years. Now, not only did he have to control the 5 pill furnaces to refine pills, he also had to absorb the Holy Spirit Qi inside the holy stone around him and then condense the creation divine liquid in his mouth. Chen Xiang would repeat the same thing every day, but it wasn't much to him, because he was basically earning Holy Stone S right now and was also raising his cultivation level. He was already very satisfied with it. Just like this, day after day, more than a year had passed. The Yuling bamboo shoots S given by Red Cloud had all been refined into Yuxiandan S by him, and because he had to control 5 pill furnaces to refine immortal grade 2 pills at the same time, the difficulty was extremely great, and he also needed a lot of strength, so he failed for a total of dozens of batches. However, compared to the time he had used and the number of pills he had produced, the tens of batches that had failed were not worth mentioning. He did not come out. He opened the stone door of the secret room and could not help but sigh with emotion. He did not expect that after the time he was refining pills, such a long time had passed, and he was a little worried about Bai Yuyu and Su Mei Yao. It was the first time that Chen Xiang and the girls had been separated for such a long time. He couldn't wait to confirm the 2 girls' safety. Red Cloud was just like usual. She spent all day here, examining those disciples and alchemists who wanted to join their sect. When she saw that Chen Xiang had arrived, she let someone replace her. "Can't you stay any longer? Come out for some fresh air." Hong Xia asked with a smile, and immediately poured Chen Xiang some good tea. Red Clouds was still wearing her fiery red clothes as before, but now she was wearing a red suit that made it easier for her to fight. It seemed like she would occasionally use 1 or 2 moves when she was testing someone else. "It's only been a year, what is there to stay for?" Chen Xiang laughed and took out 2 storage bags, throwing them at Red Cloud. There were 7,000 Yuxiandan inside, and they failed for a few dozen batches, but that's for me. After Red Cloud received it, she was stunned for a while. The 7,000 Yuling bamboo shoots, in just a year's time, had all been refined into Yuxiandan. This is too surprising. Red Clouds took a while to react before exclaiming. Chen Xiang laughed. "Right now I want to eat those Yuxiandan. After my strength increases, I can go even faster. You must come and find me when the time comes." She did not expect that in just over a year's time, she would obtain 7,000 Yuxiandan and sell them for free. If she were to use her own abilities to earn a sum of holy stone, it would probably take many years. Chen Xiang hurriedly left the 3 Aurora restaurant and went to Ji Linger's cave. A year's time, 4 strong people like Ji Linger was equivalent to a month's time, so when she saw Chen Xiang, she was not too excited. Instead, Su Meiyao threw himself into Chen Xiang's embrace and hugged him tightly. They had left Chen Xiang for so long, and they were not used to it either. They could not help but miss Chen Xiang. "Check and see if they're missing anything." Ji Linger laughed. Chen Xiang grinned, kissed Su Meiyao on her cherry lips, and then walked into the hall. "What are you doing these days?" Chen Xiang asked curiously. He had Ji Linger take out some delicious things. He had been refining pills over a year, eating some pills every day, and he also had to condense creation divine liquid S, so his mouth was always bitter and bitter. Bai Yuyu said, "Just playing everywhere, eating everywhere, this heaven-sacred district is truly a good place." Chen Xiang laughed. "Are you unwilling to leave? There is one thing, but we still have some important matters to attend to in 9 Heaven World, so we will definitely come back here in the future." Bai Yuyu brought up the matter of the 9 Heaven World, his expression heavy. Chen Xiang naturally knew that they were going for revenge, but it might be difficult for them because they had been unable to raise their strength for many years, but their enemies had become even more powerful. "Don't worry, the matters of the 9-heaven world will be resolved soon. I will become even more powerful here. Chen Xiang said firmly, then looked towards Ji Linger. I already have over 20,000 Yuxian Dan, I can now start to cultivate, I must break through this time. Ji Linger nodded his head. I will do my best to help you. After I finish consuming all these Yuxian Dan, when the time comes, I think the other pill shops will have a batch of them too. I just don't know if the 3 Aurora Pavilion will send anyone to clean the shop. They also missed Long Shui a lot. Because Long Shui was a dragon, she was also worried that she would be targeted by some strong people after he came out. That's why she didn't have any intentions of coming out to take a look. After Ji Linger closed up the cave, he and Chen Xiang entered the secret training room and helped Chen Xiang cultivate. Linger, you powerful holy maiden, how do you usually earn holy stone quickly? Chen Xiang asked. He was a little curious about it, because Red Cloud seemed to be lacking a lot of holy stone as just 7,000 of them was enough to make her excited. I've said it before, if you want to be fast, you have to kill saint beasts or try to get the job of managing the mines. Otherwise, if you were to do some small things in the clan, it would be hard to get a large number of holy stone. Ji Linger sighed. Forget about us women, even if we were men, it would be the same. Unless we have a powerful father, it would be difficult for us to live a prosperous life. In that case, do you also rely on yourselves to obtain your cultivation resources? Chen Xiang continued to ask. Every once in a while, a family or sect will hold an exam, and they will be able to obtain rich amounts of cultivation resources in an excellent way. However, there's usually something fishy about this exam, and if there's no one behind you or if you're not good enough, there's a high chance that you won't have any excellent result. Ji Linger placed both of his hands on Chen Xiang's chest and injected a strong and thick energy into her, suppressing the 100 of Yuxian Dan-s in Chen Xiang's body to erupt at the same time. We all have real ability, so we can always obtain relatively rich resources during the exam, but it still can't compare to those guys with powerful backers. Because my father is the clan leader, he is being watched by many elders, and none of them dare to secretly help me, so if they find out, we'll have to follow the family rules and deal with it. Ji Linger's voice was filled with helplessness. Although we have relatively strong powers, we will never receive too much attention. We just think that when you're useful, we will still pay a little bit more attention to you. Is the 3 Sons Holy Maiden like that as well? Chen Xiang asked. Is the 3 Sons Holy Maiden like that as well? Chen Xiang asked. Right now, it seems that they should be, otherwise they wouldn't need to be so busy. Those things were originally unsuitable for them to do, but they were forcefully given to them. If they truly have status, they should be cultivating in a very good environment right now. When Ji Linger thought about how these 3 holy maiden were similar to her, his heart inexplicably felt much better. Chen Xiang could tell that Hong Xia was dissatisfied with her current situation, so he wanted to rope her in. He only had that thought, and didn't know what he should do exactly. In just 3 months, Chen Xiang had completely digested all 20,000 Yuxian Dan. This was all thanks to Ji Linger's help, as he constantly released his energy at all times to help him cultivate. This made Chen Xiang secretly feel grateful. Ji Linger stood at the side, adjusting his breathing and recovering. However, Chen Xiang was still sitting there, compressing the energy in his dantian. The several tens of thousands of kilograms of holy stone beside him had already turned into ordinary white stones, and all of the Holy Spirit energy had been absorbed by him. When Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu came out from the ring, they saw that Chen Xiang was on the verge of a breakthrough. Previously, when Chen Xiang ate the 5,000 Yuxian Dan, he had already stepped into the intermediate stage of the Immortal King stage. After eating all the Yuxian Dan, he had a lot of promotions, adding the large amount of Holy Spirit Qi he absorbed. He already had the conditions to break through to the late stage of the Immortal King stage. Chen Xiang was currently enveloped by a silver-white mist, and his body continued to emit waves after waves of extremely rich Holy Spirit Qi. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu, who were at the side, had absorbed the scorching aura, and they both immediately felt a warm flow of air circulating inside their bodies, which was of great benefit to them. His situation is very complicated, and his cultivation is very different from normal. If it was any ordinary person, and with my help, they would have eaten so many grade 2 immortal Yuxian Dan, he should not be far from the immortal becoming realm. But right now, he is only preparing to break through to the late immortal king stage. Ji Linger recovered quite a bit of his vitality as he looked at Chen Xiang with furrowed brows. Previously, Chen Xiang had told her that he had cultivated 5 heaven pellets in his body. The spirit power that was absorbed into it had entered into the beast-type heavenly pellets, making them even more powerful. They rolled around actively in the inner parts of the heavenly pellets, causing the 5 beast-type heavenly pellets to look like clouds that were emitting multicolored light. When the mist merged together, it formed a silver-white energy that overflowed from Chen Xiang's body. Just as Chen Xiang was running his cultivation technique to cultivate, while carefully observing the beast-shaped heavenly pills, he suddenly saw a shocking scene. The 5 small, exquisite beast statue opened their eyes. This kind of eye was like a living beast's eye. It had a bit of spirit qi, and the eyes before was just the kind of eyes that belonged to statues. This really scared Chen Xiang. He did not expect that his 5 beast-type heaven pills would actually give birth to his own spirit qi. At this time, the aura around Chen Xiang's body became more and more berserk, like a ferocious beast that was surrounding him, as if it was going to grab and break him to pieces. What happened? It wasn't like this when I broke through. Ji Linger said in shock. Could it be that he is about to enter the immortal becoming realm? That is impossible. No matter how they looked at it, it did not seem to be a good thing. They clearly knew that Chen Xiang's cultivation method was indeed different from that of an ordinary person, and they had no idea what would happen if they were to continue walking forward. There were simply no instances that could be used as reference. He's absorbing a huge amount of Holy Spirit Qi. Ji Linger sensed that the Holy Spirit Qi in his surroundings had become extremely thin, and a large amount of it was sucked out by Chen Xiang in an instant. Seeing that, Ji Linger anxiously took out many holy stones and stacked them beside Chen Xiang. Not long after the holy stone was taken out, 5 illusions appeared on Chen Xiang's body. Azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, black tortoise and a gigantic beast covered in red scales. These illusions released 5 different colored light. What on earth is in his body? When Ji Linger saw the 5 divine martial holy beasts appearing from Chen Xiang's body, he could not help but shout out in alarm. The spirit qi inside the holy stone was dissipating extremely quickly. Bai Yuyu frowned. Originally that should be an elephant, but now it seems to be evolving. Don't tell me he's going to turn into a qilin? Su Meiyao nodded his head. That's right, it looks like a qilin. Over the years, he has mainly focused on fire, and never would have thought that he would turn the divine elephant that is guarding the great earth into a fire unicorn. Chen Xiang was also very shocked by the quick change in his body. This change happened all of a sudden, and in the beginning, it was still the beast-type heaven pills that opened their eyes, but in the end they left his body and ran out. He was completely unable to guess what would happen next. What made him at ease was that his current situation was quite stable, and the rate at which he absorbed the Holy Spirit Qi had become extremely fast. As long as he continued to operate multiple divine arts, this situation would continue. Seeing that Chen Xiang had gradually stabilized himself, Ji Linger heaved a sigh of relief and said, "Looks like he has really triggered an opportunity." The reason he could directly enter the immortal becoming realm might be due to the Holy Spirit Qi that he had converted in his body before. "Linger, don't worry. He'll return those holy stone to you in the future. Right now, take them out and let him get past this first," Su Meiyao said. "Do I look like such a petty person?" Ji Linger giggled. In this past year, her relations, Hi+P with Su Meiyao had become very good. It seems he still needs a long time to train. Bai Yu said, Linger, you must continue to suffer. The secret room was not very big, but Chun Xiang needed a lot of holy stone. Ji Linger was responsible for providing the holy stone to Chun Xiang to absorb, so she took out a huge pile of holy stone and arranged the holy stone neatly in a few circles around Chun Xiang. At this time, Chun Xiang had already completely lost contact with the outside world. He realized that the divine sense C had already lost control of himself and was rolling around non-stop, while his dantian that was covered by the grayish-black mist seemed to be slowly entering the divine sense C's body. Seeing such a thing happening, Chun Xiang was wild with joy, because this was the sign of the fusion of the Holy Spirit and Divine Spirit realm. He did not expect himself to enter this stage before advancing into the late stage of the Immortal King realm. Looks like I'll have to move my dantian into the Divine Sense C from now on, but I'll have to continue cultivating my body. My divine soul and body are both equally strong. Chun Xiang thought. The Divine Sense C could be said to be an unreal existence, and was only closely related to the brain. However, it was not in the brain. Long Shui had said before that the Divine Sense C was inside the Divine Soul, but the Divine Soul was actually inside the Divine Sense C, and Chun Xiang was confused by what he heard. In the end, he understood himself that the Divine Sense C was just a Divine Soul, and the Divine Soul was the same as the Soul, which could not be seen with the naked eye, just like a light wisp of smoke. The Divine Sense C could be said to be an unreal existence, and was only closely related to the brain. However, it was not in the brain. Long Shui had said before that the Divine Sense C was inside the Divine Soul, but the Divine Soul was actually inside the Divine Sense C, and Chun Xiang was confused by what he heard. In the end, he understood himself that the Divine Sense C was just a Divine Soul, and the Divine Soul was the same as the Soul, which could not be seen with the naked eye, just like a light wisp of smoke. But now, Chun Xiang had actually managed to cultivate a divine soul inside his soul, and then a divine sense C, which made him feel that it was unimaginable that when he entered the 9th cycle of the sacred transformation, everything in his dantian would actually need to be integrated into the divine sense C. This meant that he wouldn't have a dantian in the future, and his fire soul and thunder soul would all be merged with his divine soul. Moreover, there might only be Jade Dragon Blood S and Bone Soul S in his body, things that belonged to his body in the first place. Chun Xiang really wanted to ask Long Shui, but he couldn't control his own thoughts. However, he knew that Long Shui must be clear about his current situation. At this moment, it was as if he was floating in an ethereal void, and he could occasionally see the beast statue of those gigantic martial spirits. Those 5 giant beasts seemed to be right in front of him, guarding this place. Not knowing how much time had passed, Chun Xiang realized that his dantian had already completely disappeared. However, his strength had not weakened, but it had become even stronger. He anxiously looked inside the Divine Sense C, and suddenly discovered that there were 5 beast statues inside his Divine Sense C. The 4 sides were the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Black Tortoise, and the one in the middle was no longer a giant elephant, but a mighty martial qilin with golden flames spewing out of its body. His divine soul floated above the center of the sky, and was the same size as him. These are heaven pills, right? They have become a little larger. Chun Xiang was pleasantly surprised. His large dantian had already perfectly fused with the Divine Sense C, but the 5 heavenly pellet beasts were still too young. Compared to his divine soul, they were just like kittens. He observed the 5 heavenly pill beasts carefully and found that there was a light pattern revolving on their bodies, just like BUT turflies, circling around the beast-type heavenly pill. This should be the sage transformation spirit grain that only exists in the immortal becoming realm. Chun Xiang couldn't help but ask. You are now at the first cycle of the sacred transformation realm, with only one circle of the sacred transformation realm spirit grain. These spirit grain are constantly revolving around your heaven and earth pellet, absorbing the energy of the outside world, and then raising the heaven pellet's internal energy. Long Shui said, "Congratulations, you've entered the immortal becoming realm." Chen Xiang opened his eyes and saw that the surroundings were filled with white bricks. He took a deep breath and exclaimed, "All these were originally holy stones, and were all absorbed by me." At this time, Ji Linger pushed himself against a wall made of white bricks and looked at Chen Xiang resentfully. "That's right. Do you know how many years you have cultivated and how many holy stones you have consumed?" This greatly startled Chen Xiang, and he anxiously asked, "How long have I trained? Why do I feel that it is only for a few years?" "Not too long ago, it was just over 200 years ago." Su Meiyao walked in and chuckled. She was very happy to see Chen Xiang becoming a holy emperor. Chen Xiang pulled Su Meiyao into his embrace and gently caressed her back. "Is this for real?" This was the longest time Chen Xiang had been in closed-door cultivation. Su Meiyao hugged him tightly and laughed softly. "You have used up all of the holy stone Linger brought from Ji clan, so that we could continue to stay here. Linger even sold some of her valuable things in exchange for the bronze jade plate." "Thank you, little Linger. I'll definitely return it to you." Chen Xiang smiled to Ji Linger, his heart full of grat. 1-2 towards her. Ji Linger laughed. "Your sister Meiyao has already said it. If you don't return it to me, you must P.A.W.N. her and you to me. We are risking our lives to be female slaves." "By you said." Chen Xiang chuckled. "Sister you, who would dare to accept you as a female slave? That would be too dangerous. Don't worry, I will be able to pay off my debt soon." Ji Linger wasn't too worried. She and Chen Xiang had interacted with each other for so long, they both trusted each other greatly. "I'll go look for Red Cloud. She has a 3-sunset pavilion. With her help, I'll be able to find something to do soon." This was one of the reasons why he had to build a good relations H+P with Red Cloud before this. Speaking of red clouds, Su Meiyao and the other two girls couldn't help but sigh. Chen Xiang had been in closed-door cultivation for more than 200 years, so what could happen outside? He anxiously asked, "What happened to Red Cloud?" Ji Linger sighed. "Even the purple clouds have died. Rumor has it that they were killed by her fellow sect members, right outside Heaven's sacred district." "What's going on? Can we still find her?" Chen Xiang asked anxiously. She was a good person, but seeing something like this, Chen Xiang felt that it was not surprising at all. After all, she had lost 2 of her sisters who had been together with her for thousands of years. She's still inside. If she leaves, she'll become very dangerous. Ji Linger said, "I wonder what the 3 sisters did to infuriate an elder of the Super Holy School." Super Holy School is the faction that just appeared, right? Chen Xiang asked with furrowed brows. "When did Red Cloud's 2 elder sisters die?" 100 years ago. Ji Linger said. At that time, they were already Super Holy School's elders, and their master's position in the Super Holy School was not low either. No one expected such a thing to happen. Chen Xiang frowned and thought, "I'm going to look for her, something must have happened." Ji Linger stuck out his tongue. "I already knew you planned to pull her over with us. You are both women, can't you help each other out? Red Cloud is not simple, the Holy Spirit fire in her body is very powerful. I think it is also because of this reason that she is able to return to Heaven's sacred district alive." Chen Xiang said. "All right, since there is no blood feud between her and I am very willing to help her. They have once helped me as well." Ji Linger sighed. "I'll bring you to look for her. She should be thinking about how to take revenge now." When Su Meiyao and Bai Yu entered the ring, they also wanted to start cultivating, mainly to cultivate their divine soul, and then use the Holy Spirit rabbit's blood to improve their flesh. Once Chen Xiang was able to get a holy pellet to help them recover their strength, they might very well step into the sacred transformation realm. Chen Xiang hurriedly took a bath and followed Ji Linger out of the cave. Right now, the Red Cloud also lived in these remote mountains. After all, she no longer had a backer, and since there was a grudge between the Super Holy School and herself, they must secretly obstruct her, making it difficult for her to stay in the middle of the Heaven Sacred District. Chen Xiang had originally planned to build a close relations H.I+P with a few people who were worthy of him knowing, because he would be coming back to this place in the future. At that time, he would also have someone to take care of them, and his best candidates would be Ji Linger and the 3 sons Holy Maiden. Chen Xiang had originally planned to build a close relations H.I+P with a few people who were worthy of him knowing, because he would be coming back to this place in the future. At that time, he would also have someone to take care of them, and his best candidates would be Ji Linger and the 3 sons Holy Maiden. Linger, when you see her in a bit, be a bit more polite. Chen Xiang reminded her. I know I'm not the type of person who likes to hold a grudge, but you have to think carefully if you have a relations H.I+P with her, and the Super Holy School finds out, it's not a joke. Although this power was just established a short time ago, it's still very powerful. I don't know what methods they use to recruit many powerful families. Ji Linger said in a low voice. My Ji clan has also joined the Super Holy School. Chen Xiang felt that this was not a good thing. If the Super Holy School had the power to shake the Heaven Sacred District, what would happen? At that time, they will be able to do whatever they want to steal the holy treasures that are hidden under the Heaven Sacred District. Ji Linger thought about this, and his heart jumped. There are treasures under Heaven Sacred District. Chen Xiang's eyes lit up. The Heaven Sacred District's Holy Spirit Qi was so dense, it made him feel that there was a dragon vein condensed from holy stone. Thought that it would be difficult for the Super Holy School to succeed. Even if he had that kind of thought, it wouldn't be achieved in a short period of time. Ji Linger looked at the stone door of a cave with great effort. After knocking on it with a bang sound, it created quite a big commotion, and she had already brought Chen Xiang to Red Dawn's cave. The stone door of the cave opened. The red clouds were wearing a simple red dress, and it no longer had its threatening aura. However, she was still very beautiful. Hong Xia didn't recognize Ji Linger, but she did. Earlier, she had been waiting for Chen Xiang to come find her, but so many years had passed, and she still hadn't come. Now that Chen Xiang had appeared in front of her, she was extremely surprised and quickly welcomed him. Red Light invited Chen Xiang and the Terminator Spirit to sit. She smiled lightly. I don't have any more luxurious places to entertain you. I hope you don't mind. Since Chen Xiang was able to find this place, it meant that Chen Xiang already knew about her situation. She was very touched that Chen Xiang was able to come here, because she was now an enemy of the Super Holy School. Of course I don't mind. Your place is much better than mine. Ji Linger bit a fruit and looked at the beautifully decorated little hall. It was indeed much better than where Ji Linger was at. Hearing Ji Linger's voice, Hong Xia immediately frowned. She hesitated and asked, You are Ji Linger? That's right, I didn't think you would still remember my voice. Ji Linger chuckled. She took off her makeup and revealed her extremely beautiful face. Seeing the friendly and gentle smile on Ji Linger's face, Red Cloud sighed. Of course I remember, you two were actually together. The red clouds stared at Ji Linger and smiled back. At this time, their past contradictions had already been resolved, and it was not like there was any blood feud between them, it was just a small conflict between women. Chen Xiang said, All these years I was cultivating in seclusion, she was the one assisting me. I know a bit about the past, and that's not a big deal. Hong Xia naturally knew that Ji Linger had always been wanted by the Ji clan. What made her more suspicious was that after more than 200 years had passed, the Ji clan still had not let her go. Are you two together very early? Red Cloud asked. To tell you the truth, it was only with his help that I managed to successfully obtain the 3 million gene Holy Stone S from the G clan. However, he had cultivated for more than 200 years and had exhausted most of those holy stones. Ji Linger saw Hong Xia's strange expression and immediately explained, I'm only friends with him, not that kind of relations. Hi+P, don't misunderstand. After Red Cloud heard this, she chuckled and said, I don't have that kind of relations. Hi+P with him, so you don't need to explain. Chen Xiang coughed dryly a few times. Let's get down to business. What we lack the most right now are Holy Stone. The fastest way to earn Holy Stone is to buy a large amount of medicinal ingredients for concocting pills, and then I'll quickly refine them to sell. Ji Linger looked at Red Cloud and asked, Red Cloud, how many connections do you have right now? There are no longer any large powers going around looking for goods, so we can use a relatively low price to purchase a large amount of medicinal ingredients. Qin Xiang shook his head. I don't plan on refining a second stage Immortal Yuxian Dan, the profit from that is too little, and how much are the 2 types of pills? Hong Xia said. Although I am wanted by the Super Holy School, but if I am going to buy a large amount of medicinal ingredients, many medicinal pill shops would still give me some face. The medicinal pill shops of the big sects and big clans don't need to worry about how the Super Holy School feels. A Grade 3 Immortal Yuxian Dan is 100 Gene 1 pellet, which is 10 times more expensive than a Grade 2 Immortal Yuxian Dan. A Biyuan Dan is a healing pellet unique to a Grade 3 Immortal grade. Although the demand is not too big, many people would buy it for defense, and the price would be 200 Gene 1 pellet. Because these are all Immortal Grade 3, they are not as easy to cultivate as Immortal Grade 2. Therefore, the price of medicinal ingredients is rather high and the quant. 1 Tai is not that high. Ji Linger asked. Chen Xiang, you can now concoct Tier 3 immortal pills. Chen Xiang smiled lightly. Let alone 3rd stage, 4th stage is possible, but before that, I have to refine some 2nd stage immortal Tianlong Dan that I am familiar with. Can you help me buy them? Red Clouds. How many holy stone on your body? All of my holy stone have been used for this brat's cultivation? Ji Linger said in embarrassment. I still have 800,000 pounds. It should be enough for us to use for transportation. Chen Xiang said. Long Shui had not eaten anything good for many years, and although she did not make any noise, Chen Xiang felt a little apologetic in his heart. Hence, he decided to properly make up for it. Hong Xia came to Ji Linger's side and said with a smile, I still have over 1 million kilograms of holy stone, that should be enough. Let's first earn a few more holy stones and get everyone to buy some high-level pellets to increase their strength. It had been more than 200 years since her 2 sisters had been killed, and she had already recovered from her grief. That was why she looked so cheerful right now. Sister Hong, can I ask you something about your 2 sisters? Ji Linger said in a low voice. If the time comes, I can help. After all, the purple clouds have helped me before. Hong Xia sighed. Thank you very much, but I would like to do this myself. They were killed by one of my senior brothers, who is also the eldest disciple of my uncle. Qin Xiang said. I heard that your master also took action at that time. Why is that? That's right. Right now, many people are guessing whether we have some important information or know some secrets that we shouldn't know. That's why we were killed. Red Clouds hung her head, her expression was full of helplessness. This is not the reason. That's right. Right now, many people are guessing whether we have some important information or know some secrets that we shouldn't know. That's why we were killed. Red Clouds hung her head, her expression was full of helplessness. This is not the reason. Chen Xiang saw through something and asked, It's because of your Holy Spirit fire. Ji Linger was startled, she had indeed not thought about it, because Holy Spirit fire were nothing in her eyes, but now that she saw the red clouds, she knew that Chen Xiang had said it carefully. That's right, because my senior master wanted my Holy Spirit fire. He arranged for us 3 sisters and that senior apprentice brother to go out and do things, and only when we leave Heaven's sacred district would they dare to take action. At that time, we did not know, but after following the senior apprentice brother to their ambush point, they caught us and forced us to hand over the Holy Spirit fire. Seeing Red Cloud's sorrowful face, Ji Linger walked over and hugged her to comfort her. Just as I agreed, Big Sis and Second Sis resisted, and the Big Senior fought with them. In the end, in order for me to escape, all of them, he self-detonated. At this point, tears were already streaming down Red Cloud's face. Previously, Chen Xiang knew how powerful the Holy Spirit fire was. He didn't think that he would be targeted so quickly. At that time, your master was there as well. Chen Xiang asked. She is no longer my master. I no longer have a master like her. She betrayed us 3 sisters for the sake of a sacred pill. Red Cloud's face was full of anger and hatred. She clenched her jade-like fists and gnashed her teeth. One day, I will make them wish they were dead. This sort of thing can't be rushed. Take your time and prepare. Chen Xiang said. You have the Holy Spirit fire. If you use it well, it will allow you to obtain a very strong power. Ji Linger asked curiously, why does your senior master want your Holy Spirit fire? I know that the Holy Spirit fire are strong, but how strong are they? Although Holy Spirit fires can't refine pills, they can be used to control strong flames. They can easily control a large amount of natural sacred fire and cultivate in the body, and can also easily fuse a large amount of fire soul S to make themselves stronger. Ji Linger immediately understood. If he can obtain it, then his strength will definitely be many times stronger than normal. When that time comes, the several superpowers in the Heaven's Sacred District will not be able to restrain him, and it will be a disaster for the Heaven's Sacred District. What Chen Xiang was more worried about was that Ji Clan would tell Super Holy School about him possessing the Green Dragon Demon-Slain broadsword. Ji Clan was now a subsidiary power of the Super Holy School. Big Sister Hong, you should sell this cave and move to my place. Ji Linger wiped away the remaining tears on her face with his thumb. Yes, Linger. Hong Xia and Ji Linger hugged each other tightly, their feelings for each other becoming extremely deep. After that, Chen Xiang returned to Ji Linger's cave alone. After changing their appearances, Hong Xia and Ji Linger went to handle the matter of refining pills. Chen Xiang himself was in the secret room, forcing out a large jar of Creation Divine Liquid S from his body. These Creation Divine Liquid S were condensed while he was cultivating in his sleep, and because there were too many of them, he swallowed them. I didn't expect that to be so much. Chen Xiang was very excited as he took out the Holy Level S. They were the Jade Dragon Flower, the Holy Lotus Seed, the Blood Ginseng, and the Tianshan Holy Fruit. Even if there was only one type of medicinal herb, it would still be able to concoct a sacred pill, let alone 4. Chen Xiang could not imagine how powerful the sacred Dan meeting that was made of these 4 medicinal herbs was. 4 copies. Chen Xiang had this plan. If he could find a pill saint, he would entrust him with the task of refining the holy pellet and give him 4 sets of ingredients. As long as he could concoct 3 holy pellets, the remaining holy level ingredients would be his reward. There was definitely a pill saint in Tiandu. Hong Xia had said before that her animal master sold them out for a holy pill. Sister Meiyao and Sister Yu will recover soon. Chen Xiang suddenly became excited. He felt that the moment was getting closer and closer. He used them to make a few immortal grade 4 sacred animal fruit S, and then threw them over to Long Shui to temporarily satisfy her craving. As long as he worked hard in the future, he did not lack any, and in Super Old Sacred City, he could easily buy them. Red Cloud and Ji Linger returned. They went to buy Tianlong Dan's medicine, and also went to sell Red Dawn's cave. Only over 100 heavenly dragon GRA SS There are 500 Grade 2 Immortal Realm Sacred Animal Fruit. It should be enough for you to practice, right? Ji Linger laughed tenderly. I didn't spend much on the holy stone, buying medicinal ingredients is indeed the most worthwhile. Hong Xia nodded her head. Yes, I bought 1,000 sets of 3rd grade Immortal Grade Yuxian Dan and 1,000 sets of Biyuan Dan. In total, I only bought 60,000 holy stone. Chen Xiang took the storage bag they said to him and asked, What about the Immortal 4th pin? There are no Grade 4 Immortal Yuxian Dan, only other types of Immortal pills, but most of them require 2 types of Immortal pills as the main ingredient. The price is quite high and there aren't many of them, you have not been able to refine them yet, and it will definitely be very difficult. Hong Xia said, Now that you have refined the Yuxian Dan of the 3rd grade Immortal, after I sell it, I can make a name for myself. It will be much easier to buy those of the 4th grade Immortal. And let's talk about Tier 4 Immortal pills later. Come over and sit down. Seeing that the 2 girls were confused, Chen Xiang laughed. I want to pause on my techniques to you, it might be of some help to you too. Hearing that Chen Xiang wanted to pause the cultivation technique, Ji Linger immediately skipped over to Chen Xiang's side and sat down. She had been thinking about Chen Xiang's change in technique for a long time. She had already fulfilled her promise and helped Chen Xiang increase his strength, and stepped into the immortal becoming realm. After Ji Linger sat down, he placed one hand on her forehead, and then, using the secret technique that Long Shui had taught him, he said down the change in technique that he was familiar with to Ji Ling. Very quickly, the image of the transformation appeared in Ji Linger's mind, making her jump into Chen Xiang's embrace in excitement, and she kissed Chen Xiang's lips. Sister Hong, it's your turn. Chen Xiang touched his lips, licked his lips and laughed. Ji Linger hurriedly ran towards the secret room without even greeting Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang and Red Cloud knew that she was going to train. Hong Xia didn't know what kind of contribution Chen Xiang was going to teach her, but she still sat down. Even if she didn't learn, it wouldn't harm her at all. Chen Xiang had said on the Fire Divine Palace's Fire God method to her. This was a God delay skill that the Fire Emperor was known for being a hero in the past, and it was said that the 9 Heaven World did not have it in the first place. After obtaining the Fire God method, Red Dawn immediately stood there in a daze, trying to comprehend the cryptic chants written above. Just by skimming through, she was able to tell that the Fire God method was extremely powerful. This is not my main cultivation technique, but it is very useful to me. I hope you can expand it, Chen Xiang said. Red Cloud was so excited that she took a deep breath and said, Thank you. I won't let you down. Red Cloud was so excited that she took a deep breath and said, Thank you. I won't let you down. This cave was a little small, and Red Dawn was sharing a room with Ji Linger. On one hand, it could improve their relations. Hi plus P. On the other hand, it could exchange cultivation experiences. On the other hand, Chen Xiang was concocting pills in a secret room. I wonder how 9 Heaven World is doing. I really want to go back quickly, but if I go back like this, I would be very regretful. Before Chen Xiang left, he planned to buy a large amount of high-level medicine to get a large amount of holy stone and smithing materials before going back. The next step was to refine the sacred animal Dan and the Tianlong Dan. There was no difficulty in refining the sacred animal Dan. He only needed to refine a few batches to master it. This heavenly dragon GRAS looks like cotton, but why is it so hard to burn? Chen Xiang felt a headache coming. The sky dragon GRAS that was like a cotton ball. Every time it used a strong flame to burn it, a bit of its heat would be dissolved. When it dissolved the heat, it used the sky dragon GRAS's energy, and when that energy was used up, the sky dragon GRASS would be destroyed as well. If one wanted to refine the sky dragon GRAS, One must use a very suitable flame, undergo thousands and thousands of adjustments in a short period of time, and finally know the most suitable temperature for the fire. Every Sky Dragon GRAS was different, so every time before refining, one had to carry out this adjustment. Of course, this was something that he needed to do when using the foreseeing alchemy. Chen Xiang had tried it before, but his foreseeing alchemy was still stuck at the ground-level pill stage, so he failed right from the start. You have to ingest it in the shortest amount of time, or else you won't be able to tame this heavenly dragon GRAS. Su Meiyao said. If you use the God purification, then I'm afraid you won't have much time to do it, at least before the heavenly dragon GRAS releases its heat of energy. Chen Xiang held the soft and white cotton ball. This was Sky Dragon GRAS. No matter how you looked at it, it did not seem to be something related to dragons. That time is too short. It should only be for 10 breaths of time. It seems that I will have to use my strongest divine power and flames to defeat it in that instant. This is my full power attack. Chen Xiang patted the Yanlong furnace. I don't know if this cauldron can withstand it, but if I make a mistake, it would be equivalent to attacking this cauldron. Now that Chen Xiang's Saint Force had already fused with the God power he used to refine the pellet was even more powerful. After throwing the heavenly dragon GRAS into the pill furnace, he immediately concentrated on circulating his divine power. The divine power formed into two types, one was the sacred fire, and the other was a spiritual attack. Boom! The pill furnace fiercely jumped up, causing a very strong explosion from inside it, causing Chen Xiang to jump in fright. What's going on? Ji Linger, who was in the midst of learning the arts of change, rushed over and knocked on the stone door, and asked loudly. It's nothing. There was a mistake during the process. Chen Xiang shouted, You guys continue, it's all right. After breaking through, it was his first time controlling so much God power. Because he did not control it well, he made a mistake and did not focus his attacks on the Sky Dragon GRAS. Instead, he focused on hitting the walls of the pill furnace. The Sky Dragon GRAS had also disappeared. Motherf Ker, my divine power right now is too terrifying. Chen Xiang exclaimed in shock. It was only a change of a saint, but it already possessed such power. Fortunately, the pill furnace was tough enough, otherwise the entire cave mansion would have been destroyed by me. You have never fought in actual combat, so you definitely don't know how terrifying your divine power is. If you were to transform into a God wind, even those who have gone through the third cycle of the sacred transformation would have to kneel down. Long Shui laughed tenderly. It is only in this higher realm that you can break through so quickly. If you were in the 9 heaven world, it would take even longer. This time, Chen Xiang controlled his strength well and weakened it by a lot. He gathered it together and then carefully released the sacred flame to burn it. Gathered the invisible powers together and attacked the Sky Dragon GRAS. At this moment, the Sky Dragon GRAS was already being burned by the blazing sun, and under the bombardment of the God power, it actually dissolved in an instant, separating into a medicinal powder and a medicine aura. This is way too fast. Chen Xiang did not expect that in just a few moments, he would have refined the Sky Dragon GRAS, and following that, it had already congealed into a pellet. Because it was given to Long Shui to eat, Chen Xiang did not divide it into many pellets, but instead directly fused them together to create a pellet of extremely high-quality Tianlong Dan. This Tianlong Dan was a little large, and the other pills were all about the size of a peanut, but the one in Chen Xiang's hand right now was like a pigeon's egg. There were a few lines on it, and the patterns looked like dragons baring their fangs and brandis. Plussing their claws. Let's give it a try. Chen Xiang placed it into the ring and laughed. If it's not delicious, I will not refine it, I will just refine the sacred animal Dan. Long Shui gasped in admiration and quickly said, "The taste is pretty good, finish refining the remaining sky dragon GRAS. And then leave some to the Flower Emperor to make a bunch of copies." Chen Xiang had stayed here for more than 200 years, and the pace of Nine Heaven World was very fast as well. He did not know what sort of changes would occur after he returned, but he was certain that the Flower Emperor and the others would definitely become stronger. This was because they had come to the sacred region before and knew how weak they were. Because of how special this heavenly dragon GRAS was, when Chen Xiang used the God purification to refine it, his speed was extremely fast. At the moment, he was even trying to use a magic method furnace to refine it, but he was unexpectedly still able to succeed. In order to make use of his own strength when refining the pill, he released even more magic method furnace. In just a few days of time, he had already refined over 100 Tianlong Dan, and what followed after was the sacred animal Dan that he was extremely familiar with, although there were 500 sacred animal fruit, but when he released 20 to 30 of them to be refined at the same time, it would be completed in a short period of time. Chen Xiang was concocting pills in the secret room, and it was isolated from the outside world. Long Shui had something to eat and did not sleep, so he would occasionally check on the situation outside. When Chen Xiang was about to finish refining the sacred animal Dan, she shouted, "A few people have entered this cave, they do not seem to be friendly, quickly go out and take a look, Super Holy School might have discovered Red Cloud and Linger." Chen Xiang immediately gave up on the 20 batches of pills he was concocting and walked out of the secret room. There, he saw two familiar-looking old men and an extremely dazzling young man. When Red Cloud and Linger saw them, it was as if they were facing a great enemy. Their faces were full of caution and anger, and with a single glance, they could tell that they were enemies. "Aren't those two the elders from Ji clan? Could that young man be Red Cloud's big senior brother?" Seeing him appear, the two elders were immediately overjoyed. "This kid is really with you. Haha, I finally found him." A Ji clan elder laughed crazily. Chen Xiang took out a bronze tablet and said, "You guys seem to have barged in, if you don't leave now, I will call you Law Enforcement Saint." Hearing the words Law Enforcement Saint, the expressions of the three people of Super Holy School slightly changed. Even though they were relatively strong, they were very afraid of Law Enforcement Sacred Masters, but when Chen Xiang saw that they did not seem to be very afraid, he immediately became nervous. Hearing the words Law Enforcement Saint, the expressions of the three people of Super Holy School slightly changed. Even though they were relatively strong, they were very afraid of Law Enforcement Sacred Masters, but when Chen Xiang saw that they did not seem to be very afraid, he immediately became nervous. "Do you want to fight here?" Linger said coldly. "This is the Heaven Sacred District, you had best think about the consequences of being caught by a Law Enforcement Saint." There were three people who had come. One of them was an elder from the Ji clan, the other was the big senior who used to be Red Dawn, and the other was an old man. The three of them were all very powerful, so Chen Xiang did not think that Linger and Red Dawn were their opponents. "Get the HEL out of my cave abode." Linger frowned. She was also prepared to call the Law Enforcement Saint over. The reason they spent so many holy stones to buy that bronze tablet was so that they wouldn't be Hara, as said inside. Just you wait." The eldest senior brother thought for a moment. They were also afraid of provoking that Law Enforcement Saint. Just as the three of them turned and walked out of the cave, Chen Xiang hurried to catch up. Sensing that Chen Xiang was coming closer, the three of them turned around fiercely. They felt a gust of air coming towards them, enveloping them within. This stream of air did not have any offensive power, so the three of them were not too worried, but they wanted to disperse it. Linger closed the door. Chen Xiang suddenly sent a sound transmission to Linger, then laughed coldly towards the three of them. He used his divine power to control the air current and sent it into the three people's nostrils. The three of them were all powerful heaven realm beings, and they had already been on guard. The drunk G.O.D. magical poison that Chun Xiang had just released did not all enter into their bodies, but rather, some of it was absorbed by them, while the majority of it was dispersed by them. When she was guarding the mines previously, she knew that Chun Xiang had used a strong poison to deal with the 15 people. She immediately closed the stone door, not allowing the 3 people to run out. "Are you all courting death?" The elder from the Ji clan sneered. He had already struck out with his palm towards Chun Xiang. At the same time, he released an extremely terrifying heat wave, which seeped into the elder's arm. The elder's sleeves suddenly turned into ashes, and his arms turned completely red. The heat wave continuously emitted from his body. The elder's face flushed red. He did not expect the flames of the red light to be so strong, and the flame that was injected into his arm seemed to want to melt his arm. Ji Linger's reaction was extremely fast. Just as she made her move, she arrived beside Chun Xiang and used her palm to strike at the old man's abdomen, forcing him to retreat a few steps. At the same time, she pushed Chun Xiang backwards, away from the 3 people. "What do you mean? Aren't you afraid of the law enforcement saints?" The Ji clan elder was furious, but he was secretly shocked. This was because the strength of Hong Xia and Ji Linger were not as weak as he had imagined. The 2 of them made a move at the same time, but it did not create any big noise, but the force that they used was not weak at all. The red light was like a powerful flame that was injected into the elder's arm, while Ji Linger condensed his holy energy and pierced into the elder's body like a nail. "Very well, since you all dare to attack us, we have underestimated you all. This is exactly what I wanted." The senior brother smiled sinisterly and took out a holy sword, then said to the old man, "Do it, as long as you capture them and quickly leave the heaven-sacred district. There is no need to be afraid of your law enforcement saint." Chun Xiang watched from the back, his heart extremely anxious. He had underestimated the strength of the 3 people up till now, and the drunk G.O.D. magical poison had not acted yet. Although it was only absorbed by them a little, as long as they didn't discover it, the poison would gradually spread. Ji Linger and Red Cloud were not weak in the first place. If they were to fight with their lives on the line, even if they couldn't defeat these 3 people, they shouldn't think of easily taking them down. The first senior brother had forced her 2 elder sisters to death in the past. Now, she was ready to sacrifice everything to kill this person. "Let's go," Ji Linger shouted lightly. At this point of time, both sides had high fighting spirit, and could not care less about being law enforcement saints. Capture them alive. Red Cloud and Chun Xiang were both important figures. Red Dawn had Holy Spirit Fire S inside her body, and Chun Xiang had Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword S. If they could capture them, the 3 of them would definitely receive a huge reward. However, just as the Super Holy School and the other 2 were about to attack, their faces suddenly changed. They, who had an imposing manner, actually gave up on attacking, instead fearfully dodging Ji Linger and Red Dawn's swift swords. Chun Xiang was overjoyed, because the drunk G.O.D. magical poison that he released had already taken effect. The 3 of them had already sensed that the poison was being forced by the Holy Spirit Qi in their bodies, but they realized that the poison was like a huge wave, quickly spreading throughout their bodies. After numbing the Holy Spirit Qi in their bodies, they used their Holy Spirit Qi as nourishment, constantly replicating the poison, allowing the poison to spread very quickly. In just a few blinks of an eye, more than half of the holy energy in their bodies had fallen. They glared at Chun Xiang, and they had already recalled the scene of Chun Xiang releasing that terrifying poison on them. After entering the immortal becoming realm, Chun Xiang used his powerful divine power to control the drunk G.O.D. magical poison to enter the bodies of the 3 people. "Little B, A-S-T, A-R-D, what did you do to us?" At this time, Linger and Red Cloud had already stopped their attacks, because the three of them were just lying there, unable to move. Chen Xiang laughed, then walked to their side. You should not be here, this is your own death, you can't blame people. Do you dare to kill us? If we die, the law enforcement saint will immediately rush over. That Ji clan elder sneered. They still had a sliver of hope in their hearts. Chen Xiang's thigh suddenly flashed with electric threads, and fiercely kicked towards the face of the Ji clan elder, causing a burst of piercing electric light to flash out, and exploded out a burst of fled sounds, causing the elder's teeth to fly out. Who said we were going to kill you? Ha ha! As Chen Xiang laughed, he continued to punch and kick the Ji clan elder, causing the eldest senior brother and the other elderly man's heart to jump in fear. Because they had already seen that the upcoming event might happen to them. At the beginning, Red Cloud was somewhat at a loss, not knowing why those three people would suddenly collapse on the ground. Linger explained to her using sound transmission, letting her know Chen Xiang's secret method. After beating the Ji clan elder until his face was bruised black and blue, Chen Xiang softened his fist and looked at the senior brother and the old man sinisterly. Don't worry, just wait for me to rest for a while, you guys can enjoy yourselves. Hong Xia and Linger would not do such a crude thing like beating someone up, but they were enjoying watching Chen Xiang beat up those three guys. Hong Xia and Linger would not do such a crude thing like beating someone up, but they were enjoying watching Chen Xiang beat up those three guys. What do we do now? We can't kill them or the law enforcement saints will come. Linger asked. One of them is one of Sister Hong's enemies. Chen Xiang laughed and took out the divine cauldron. Put them inside here, bring them out of the heaven sacred district, kill them outside, and then destroy the corpses and erase the evidence. What's so difficult about that? Chen Xiang placed the three people inside the divine cauldron, looked at the red clouds and asked, You should go out with me, and you should be the one to handle the matter of revenge. Although you are just a small fry, it can still temporarily relieve your anger. After changing her appearance, she followed Chen Xiang and left Heaven's Sacred District, returning late into the night. Chen Xiang and the two girls were discussing in the hall. They were happy that they could kill 3 strong warriors from the Super Holy School. I didn't expect them to be able to find this place. Perhaps we were too careless and went to purchase so many medicinal herbs, causing their suspicion. Linger said. Maybe it's because of other reasons, but we can't stay here anymore. These caves aren't safe, and there aren't many enforcers around. If we could go to the central area, they wouldn't dare to break in like they did today. Red Cloud said, Buying a house there is very expensive, but in order to be safe, we have to stay there as much as possible. As long as the few great powers that are in charge of this Heaven's Sacred District do not fall, we are safe here. Linger said. Hong Xia and Linger did not have any backers, and being targeted by such a huge being like the Super Holy School caused them to not dare to casually leave the Heaven Sacred District. We need to buy a normal small residence in the central area. How many holy stone do we need? Chen Xiang asked. It will cost at least 5 million kilograms of holy stone. Although it's very expensive, that place is still beneficial and will be safer. Furthermore, the entire house has many powerful formations and can absorb the large amount of Holy Spirit Qi hidden underneath the Heaven Sacred District. Red Cloud said, A grade 3 immortal Yuxiandan is 100 jin, I have to refine at least 50,000 of them. Chen Xiang took a deep breath. The Yuxiandan is worth 200 kilograms per pellet, but I'm a stranger to it. I'm not sure if there's any value in refining this kind of pellet yet. If he could obtain more than 3 pellets in a single pellet, it would mean that refining Yuxiandan would be more cost-effective. Wait for a few days for me to refine the Yuxiandan. Then, I can decide how many herbs I want to buy. After Chen Xiang finished speaking, he quickly ran into the secret room and continued refining the sacred animal Dan. He had to quickly gather holy stone and buy a small house in the central area, Otherwise, he would not be able to refine pills in peace here. Also, if there was a place that could absorb the rich Holy Spirit's power, it would be of great help to him in his alchemy and cultivation. After he finished refining all the sacred animal fruit, he started to refine the third-grade immortal Yuxiandan. Previously, he had rich experience in refining the second-grade immortal Yuxiandan. However, he was gradually getting better. After he had succeeded for 100 of batches, he would be able to use the Dewan refining method and refine many batches at the same time in order to speed up the process of refining pills. This secret room was rather small for him, especially when he used the Dewan refining method. After releasing the dozen or 20 magic method furnace, they practically filled the SPAC in this secret room. He also wanted a relatively SPAC secret room because he had yet to reach his limit. With the speed of 50 batches per day, he crazily and quickly refined grade 3 immortal Yuxiandan. In just over 20 days, he had refined all 1,000 Yuling bamboo shoot. In total, there were more than 5,000 grade 3 immortal Yuxiandan. When Chen Xiang was refining pills, Red Cloud and Ji Linger would often go out to investigate the channels of some medicinal herbs, making it easier for them to buy more in the future. Although Red Cloud had concealed her ident. 1. Tai now, she was proficient in this aspect, so it was easy for her to get on good terms with the big powers who mainly sold medicinal pellet. Chen Xiang sat in the living room, drinking a bottle of sweet fruit juice on the table, waiting for the two girls to come back. He wanted to give the 5,000 Yuxiandan to them and have them sell them in exchange for holy stone s. Ji Linger and Hong Xia came back, seeing that their faces were slightly ugly. He anxiously asked, "What's wrong? What grievances did you have with me?" "Humph, even if it's not that super holy school, they actually tried to SNATCH the Yuxiandan's medicinal ingredients from us. They started sweeping through all the Yuling bamboo shoots in the medicine stores again, and the price was very high, almost double the original price." Ji Linger's face was filled with displeasure. "If we buy it at the same price, then no one will be willing to sell it to us, because in their eyes, the super holy school is a big customer. Where did they get so many holy stone?" Chen Xiang was very suspicious of this. He looked at Red Cloud. In the past, Red Cloud was also responsible for buying Yuxiandan as well. "I'm not sure either. I just know that these holy stone were all created by that old fellow." Hong Xia shook her head. The old fellow that she spoke of was her original senior uncle, the one who wanted to obtain her Holy Spirit fire. He was currently leader. Chen Xiang tossed over a storage bag to Red Cloud. "These are 5,000 of third-grade, immortal-ranked Yuxiandan." Ji Linger and Hong Xia were startled, and couldn't help but exclaim, "We refined it so quickly." Chen Xiang laughed. "If the place is big, then I will refine it faster. I will then refine the Biyuandan. I wonder if they will buy a large amount of Biyuandan." "Of course not, because Biyuandan are more difficult to refine, and even some of the more famous alchemists would often fail. The reason why Super Holy School needs Yuxiandan is so that he can quickly raise a group of outstanding seedlings and quickly strengthen his base." Red Cloud said. Chen Xiang asked again, "Are Biyuandan easy to sell? If you sell them all at once, will it be easy to sell them?" Red Cloud gently smiled and said, "Don't worry, I will help you sell as many pills as you have. Although this kind of pill is not often used, it can help you recover from your injuries." "Alright, I will start refining the Biyuandan now." Chen Xiang had just rested for a short while before returning to the secret room to refine pills. Red Cloud and Ji Linger couldn't help but admire Chen Xiang when they saw how hard-working he was every day, and in a short 20 days, he had refined 5,000 Yuxiandan. Besides the cost, he had also earned over 400,000 kilograms of holy stone, which for a person with Chen Xiang's strength, was extremely impressive. Chen Xiang sat in the secret room, looking at the jasper gourd in his hands. This was the immortal medicine used to refine Biu Dan. It was called jasper gourd. Chen Xiang sat in the secret room, looking at the jasper gourd in his hands. This was the immortal medicine used to refine Biu Dan. It was called jasper gourd. Back then, after Yen Xilan was injured by the Thunder Tao double venerables, LV Qilian made little Lizzie deliver a bottle of Biu Dan's. Sister Meiyao, what's so difficult about refining this Biu Dan? Is it about the foreseeing alchemy? Chen Xiang asked Su Meiyao. This kind of healing pellet was usually hard to refine. The main reason is that there will be a strong vibration inside the jasper gourd, so when refining it, you have to calculate the defensive power that will be released when the vibration occurs, because that kind of strange vibration can disperse the strong flame. Su Meiyao said. Chen Xiang was not surprised at how high-level herbs were like this. He heard that there was a type of immortal medicine that, after obtaining the spirit qi, could even fly in the air and escape the earth. It could even release its power to attack creatures that wanted to destroy him. And this jasper gourd was one of them. When it was being refined, it would produce a very violent vibration. Chen Xiang threw a palm-sized jasper gourd into the Yanlong furnace. He had never refined one, so he did not know how intense the shaking was. He released the 5 elements sacred flame. A 5-colored flame surged within the pill furnace, burning the jasper gourd. He patiently and vigilantly waited for the jasper gourd to tremble. After an hour, Chen Xiang suddenly felt that the jasper gourd was shaking slightly. He immediately braced himself, but after that slight shake, the jasper gourd suddenly started shaking violently, and even jumped around inside the Yanlong furnace. This was the first time Chen Xiang had encountered such a situation. After being stunned for a moment, he immediately released his divine power to suppress the flying Yanlong furnace, or else the stone room would have been smashed apart. Boom! After the furnace fell to the ground, a violent explosion occurred from the inside of the furnace. The jasper gourd was indeed powerful. He wandered around for a while and then exploded again. Now he understood why the Biu Dan was so hard to refine. This thing is really naughty. Chen Xiang opened the furnace and looked inside. There was no damage inside, which made him sigh in relief. The degree of vibration just now made him worried that the furnace would be damaged. You must know your limits. Su Meiyao laughed. I know, but I will also let him know how powerful I am. Chen Xiang took out another jasper gourd, threw it into the furnace and laughed. Little thing, I coincidentally learned how to refine Tianlong Dan. I will use the method to deal with that heavenly dragon Gra. Right now to you. When he refined the Tianlong Dan, he condensed a flame and divine power at the same time, and then poured it all into the sky dragon Gra. Instantly dispersing the spirit inside the sky dragon Gra. Furthermore, the flame which he controlled precisely also exploded with an extremely precise heat, and melted away the sky dragon Gra. This method was named Divine Flames Flash Technique, and was able to refine high-grade medicinal herbs within a short period of time. However, he had tried using this method in the Yuling bamboo shoots and other medicinal herbs but to no avail. Chen Xiang began to condense his spirit energy and flames, preparing to use lightning to finish the jasper gourd off when it was about to explode. If it was really successful, the speed of refining the Biu Dan would be faster than the Yuxian Dan. Even if there were less pills, it would be very worthwhile, not to mention that it was difficult to find the materials to refine the Yuxian Dan on the market right now. It's about to begin. When Chen Xiang saw the jasper gourd, he trembled for a moment and immediately threw his condensed divine holy fire towards it. Like a strand of hair, it charged into the inside of the jasper gourd and then, like a net, the divine holy fire spread out, disintegrating the jasper gourd from within. Chen Xiang held his breath as he looked at the interior of the pill furnace. He did not know the result yet, but he saw that there were cracks of fire on the surface of the jasper gourd. Just when he thought that he had failed, the jasper gourd suddenly exploded. That was the jasper gourd's medicine. He did not think that it would actually succeed, which made him incomparably excited, because he had grasped another powerful pill-cultivating method. This was something that he had comprehended from the heavenly alchemy. It seems that it won't even take 2 hours for me to concoct one furnace. Chen Xiang was extremely excited. If it was him at this speed, he would very quickly be able to live in the center of the small house. Little monster, you really did not disappoint me. Su Meiyao laughed. Seeing that Chen Xiang had refined a jasper gourd in less than an hour, she was shocked, and now she had to see Chen Xiang condense a majority of pellet. Very quickly, Chen Xiang had fused the medicine aura and medicinal powder into one ball of air. He estimated and separated the BALS into 4 groups, which meant that he could get 4 pills, which made him very satisfied. Although it was 1 pellet slower than the Yuxian Dan, it was much faster than the Yuxian Dan. The price of a pellet was 1-fold that of a Yuxian Dan, and jasper gourd's price was the same as Yuling bamboo shoot. Just like before, he was first familiar with it. Only after refining hundreds of batches would he be able to use magic method furnace. During this process, he would also fail, and after knowing the reason for his failure, he would be able to avoid it in the future. Only when he was very familiar with the Biyuan Dan would he dare to use multiple magic method furnace to refine it, because if he failed, it would cause 20 jasper gourd to tremble, and the entire mountain would probably shake. He stayed in the secret room for a day, and refined a total of 10 batches. He was very satisfied with the quality of the Biyuan Dan and the number of pills produced. Ji Linger and Red Cloud, who went to sell Yuxian Dan, had already returned. Looking at their smiling faces, Chen Xiang knew that everything was going smoothly. They were all sold. Chen Xiang laughed. It's rare to see you smiling so sweetly. Did you guys eat a lot secretly? Ji Linger laughed as she walked to his side, gently saging his back. How can that be? We were just selling it at a pretty good price. Because Super Holy School bought a large number of Yuling bamboo shoots, the overall price of the Yuxian Dan was raised a little, allowing us to earn an extra 50,000 kilograms of holy stone, and we even managed to get a good relations, HI+P, with one of the 5 great pill stores in Heaven's Sacred District. Chen Xiang curled his lips and said, to earn an extra 50,000 kilograms of holy stone, and to let you guys be so happy, you truly have no future. Hong Xia laughed charmingly, came to Chen Xiang's side and laughed. Our boss Shen, how much do you think we should earn in order to be happy? Chen Xiang could quickly refine Biyuan Dan, and if nothing unexpected happened, he could quickly refine Biyuan Dan to earn a large amount of holy stone. Chen Xiang could quickly refine Biyuan Dan, and if nothing unexpected happened, he could quickly refine Biyuan Dan to earn a large amount of holy stone. There are a total of 40 Biyuan Dan. Chen Xiang said the Biyuan Dan he refined to the 2 girls, and laughed. Now you 2 can go and purchase the Biyuan Dan's medicinal ingredients, buy as many as you can. I am going to crazily refine the Biyuan Dan right now. Seeing how confident Chen Xiang was, Red Cloud and Ji Linger knew that Chen Xiang had already captured the Biyuan Dan and was refining it very smoothly. They had already started to calculate that they needed to refine a majority of the pellets in order to buy a house in the central area. If there are a lot of Biyuan Dan, can they be sold at once? Chen Xiang asked. He was more worried about the sales. Seeing the high quality of those Biyuan Dan, they were definitely rare in the market. She patted her chest and said, no problem, we are really big today. Just with this super old sacred city alone, we can consume a large amount of Biyuan Dan. Not to mention selling it elsewhere, you don't have to worry about this. We are going to purchase the Biyuan Dan's herbs now. You still have a lot left, you should start refining them first. Maybe we will have to quietly leave the super old sacred city to go somewhere else to purchase them. Ji Linger laughed. She had already seen that it wouldn't be long before she would have holy stones that she couldn't spend. Hong Xia and Ji Linger, who had just returned back to their room, only rested for a moment before leaving in a hurry. Chen Xiang could refine a batch of these Biyuan in 2 hours, and after he mastered it, he would be able to use many magic method furnace. At that time the refining speed would increase by 10 or 20 times. As long as he could endure the loneliness, he would be able to finish refining all of them. He still had 1,000 jasper gourd on him, which was more than enough for him to refine for a period of time. After refining this batch, he would be able to exchange for quite a few holy stone, which was definitely much easier than digging for the holy stone's veins. What worried him the most was that if he sold so many pills in the future, it would definitely arouse suspicion from others and might even harm the interests of some of the big powers. At that time, it would be very troublesome for him, Ji Linger and the others, so he decided to wait until he settled down in the center area and find a strong backer. After 2 days of refining, he had already become very stable. He was able to refine 10 batches of Biyuan, and 4 pellets would be produced each day. If nothing unexpected happened in the future, he would not fail too many times. I can't hold it in anymore, let's try out the magic method furnace. Fortunately, he managed to control it and only allowed 2 batches to be destroyed. The losses weren't too big, and at the same time, he grasped the difficulty of refining with multiple magic method furnaces. 7 days pass, said, and Chen Xiang walked out of the secret room. When Red Cloud and Ji Linger saw that he had come out, they immediately took out some juice to dispel their fatigue and handed it over. They were very considerate. I'm going to take a bath first. Chen Xiang stretched his back. He had been concocting pills for 7 days straight and his body smelled like sweat. The bathtub was in Red Dawn and Ji Linger's room. They had long prepared that kind of sacred spring water. After Chen Xiang jumped in, he gasped in admiration, and the fatigue on his body gradually dispersed. How many jasper gourd have you bought? When Chen Xiang saw their coquettish smiles and their light clothing, his heart shook and he really wanted to drag them into the water. 20,000. How many days do you think it'll take for you to complete it? Ji Linger sat at the side of the bath, immersing her snow-white calves and tender jade feet in the water, and continued to shake those flowery white calves beside Chen Xiang. The skirt on her thighs had already been rolled up, tightly holding onto the middle of her big white legs, making people want to see it. It was extremely alluring. The most frightening thing was that, like Ji Linger, Red Cloud also rolled up her skirt and revealed her long, white, jade-like legs. She soaked in the water and kicked the water in order to play with it. Chen Xiang was soaking in the bath while leaning on the side. Both of his arms were spread out to the side of the pool, and 2 beautiful holy maidens sat on both sides of him. Hey, what are you thinking about? I'm asking you a question. Are you able to handle 20,000 jasper gourd? Ji Linger's charming eyes flashed as she giggled. It's definitely not a problem to take care of 20,000 jasper gourd, but it's a little difficult to take care of 2 holy maiden. Chen Xiang laughed wickedly as he placed his hands on Ji Linger's and Red Cloud's white thighs and began to sage them. The 2 ladies spat and removed his evil hands. Their faces were red, but they did not feel disgusted. Little scoundrel. She had long known that Chen Xiang was not an honest guy, but she had also thought that it was normal since Chen Xiang was a man after all. Chen Xiang looked wronged. You guys are the bad ones. You seduce me in broad daylight and even watch me take a bath. When you take a bath, you definitely won't let me see it like this. Ji Linger understood Chen Xiang better, and she knew a lot about Chen Xiang from him, especially some of the more gossipy things, such as Chen Xiang's emotional problems. She knew that there were a lot of outstanding women around Chen Xiang, but Chen Xiang only had 3 of them. Forget about 9 Heaven World, even if Chen Xiang had that kind of abnormal pill refining ability, just by relying on a large power alone, it would be normal for him to have a few outstanding holy maiden, because Chen Xiang's speed of earning holy stone was too fast, so who wouldn't want to own such a treasure? Right now, Ji Linger and Hong Xia couldn't bear to leave Qin Xiang, and Qin Xiang was very good to them both. Although his strength was much weaker than theirs, his ability to earn Holy Stone was much stronger than theirs. I remember you saying before that there will be forces plotting to enter the Nine-Heaven world this day, right? Qin Xiang asked. This is only a legend, but I think that it should be true. The Nine-Heaven world is growing up too fast, and will eventually threaten this place, so they planned to suppress the Nine-Heaven world before he grows up. Ji Linger said. Super Holy School might have the same idea. Although Nine-Heaven world is not as advanced as this place, he still has other rich resources. Otherwise, there would not be a place where he could nurture powers that could threaten this place. Hong Xia leaned close to Qin Xiang and gently pinched his thick shoulders. Qin Xiang gently rubbed Hong Qi's greasy leg, and then slowly moved it to his thigh. Hong Xia only snorted lightly. On the other side, Ji Linger was also not spared. She was only worried that Su Meiyao would be jealous, so she did not take Qin Xiang's hand away. Qin Xiang rubbed the two saints and said, I will leave this place, but before I leave, we will arrange for you to cultivate here with sufficient resources. Maybe in the future, you will attack Nine-Heaven world, and I will need you to protect me. When are you leaving? Ji Linger was a little reluctant. She moved her jade hand to Qin Xiang's chest and gently rubbed it. Of course, the faster the better, because I have urgent matters at Nine-Heaven world. But before I leave, I need to get a large number of Holy Stone so that you all don't have to worry about the Holy Stone and the medicinal pellets. Qin Xiang leaned his head against her chest. Of course, the faster the better, because I have urgent matters at Nine-Heaven world. But before I leave, I need to get a large number of Holy Stone so that you all don't have to worry about the Holy Stone and the medicinal pellet. Qin Xiang leaned his head against her chest. The relations Hi+P between Qin Xiang and her was merely that of a friend, but they had acted this way for her sake, causing her to be moved. They had lost the support of a powerful force, so it would be difficult for them to live a peaceful life in the super old sacred city in the future. Qin Xiang immersed himself in the God's spring for an hour, looking as energetic as if he had slept for a whole day. These are Biyuan Dan, there should be around 4,000 of them. I have already completed the previous 1,000. Qin Xiang took out a storage bag. If it was in the past, Ji Linger and Red Cloud would definitely have been shocked, because Qin Xiang was actually able to refine this Biyuan Dan that was extremely difficult to refine faster than the Yuxian Dan. Ji Linger and Red Dawn handed over the 20,000 jasper gourd that they had bought to Qin Xiang. Qin Xiang couldn't help but to admire Red Dawn's ability to be able to get her in such a short time, and at a very low price at that. Qin Xiang never asked about Holy Stone. He himself owed Ji Linger 2 million, but Ji Linger didn't bring it up much anyway. She knew that the benefits Qin Xiang brought her wasn't just 200 kilograms. After the two girls left, Qin Xiang returned to the secret room. The reason he was trying so hard to refine pills was also because he wanted to find an opportunity to meet the pill saint here. If they could come to an agreement, Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu could quickly recover. Ever since the Super Holy School's people had come to find them, Ji Linger and Red Cloud became even more cautious when they went out. Although they cooperated with some of the big powers, those big powers no longer knew where they lived, so this small cave was no longer disturbed. Meanwhile, the Super Holy School continued to search for Ji Linger and Red Cloud. They seemed to already know that the two holy daughters were together, and Red Dawn and Qin Xiang, who possessed the Green Dragon Demon-Slain broadsword, were priceless treasures in the eyes of the Super Holy School. If they did not go out to buy and sell pills, Red Cloud and Ji Linger would rarely go out and stay in the cave to cultivate. Every time Qin Xiang came out, it meant that they had something to do, and could quickly obtain a large amount of holy stone. Although her cultivation did not increase, she was able to unleash a lot of the power that was hidden in her body. Especially regarding the use of the Holy Spirit fire, She knew very clearly that the cultivation method of the fire God method could not be measured using the holy stone, and in her heart, she was extremely grateful to Chen Xiang. The change techniques that Ji Linger trained in had made quite a bit of a breakthrough as well. It was able to make her into a variety of people, as well as a few small and medium-sized beasts. They were both cultivating in the same secret room and could see each other's progress. It's been almost 4 months. It's been a long time since I last saw that little scoundrel. I miss him very much in my heart. Ji Linger squatted by the side of the pool, and softly muttered while caressing the holy spring that was prepared for Chen Xiang. Linger's heart is moved. After the red clouds heard this, they smiled coquettishly and said. Ji Linger rolled his eyes at her, then asked, Sister Hong, if he can refine a holy pellet like this in the future, wouldn't that be extremely terrifying? Of course, but the holy levels are a problem. It's only a matter of time before he becomes a pill saint. Hong Xia nodded. I never thought that we would be able to be friends with a pill saint. When that group of old guys from Ji clan find out, they will definitely regret it until they die. Ji Linger laughed. Red clouds came to her side, pinching her face as she smiled. If his strength is sufficient, wouldn't you be pledging your life to him? Ji Linger stuck out his tongue and asked, What if it was you? Red Cloud did not answer and the two girls stayed silent for a while. At this time, Chen Xiang's laughter rang out. What are you guys talking about? I think I heard that our 2 holy maiden beauties have taken a fancy to that family's young man. When Chen Xiang came out of the secret room, he went straight here. Along the way, he took off his clothes, and then walked into the bathing pool naked. Red Cloud and Ji Linger heard their conversation earlier from Chen Xiang's ears. She blushed a little and wanted to leave, but Chen Xiang released 2 water vines and wrapped it around their waists, pulling them into the bath. The 2 girls started to cry out. I've been concocting pills for so long that I'm going to die of boredom. You all still don't intend to talk to me, you can't be so cruel. Chen Xiang smiled as he looked at their wet bodies. After the light dresses were soaked, it stuck closely to their jade bodies, outlining their beautiful and alluring bodies. Adding on to that wet long hair, it made Chen Xiang smile even more ruthlessly. And scoundrel! Who knew that her waist was already being embraced by Chen Xiang, and the same went for Red Cloud. What made them the most embarrassed said was that Chen Xiang's bad hand was extremely agile as he swam towards their chests, invading their sacred snowy peaks. Instantly, in the pool, Chen Xiang, who was naked, was playing with 2 holy maiden in thin clothes. When the sounds of clothes tearing came out, the girl's delicate shout and her endless spring color filled the entire room. After having fun in the bathtub, Chen Xiang also took advantage of the 2 girls. Hong Xia and Ji Linger could only nag him, they did not dare to use their terrifying holy power to fight him, and were worried that they would hurt him. In the hall it was already easy for the 2 girls. They knew that Chen Xiang had refined a large batch of Buandan's after concocting pills for such a long time, and might even have finished refining the 20,000 jasper gourds. They were going to sell the Buandan's now. I'll go with you guys this time and pack up as well. We might not be coming back. Chen Xiang laughed. You really finished refining the jasper gourd. Ji Linger was slightly excited. If that's really the case, then the business we need to do now will be very big, and we will have a large number of holy stone. The same was true for the Red Clouds. It was hard to conceal the excitement in their hearts. Chen Xiang was actually very calm, because in his eyes, these kind of holy stone were definitely not enough. There are a total of 80,000 pills. I can produce 4 in a single furnace. Chen Xiang said over 2 storage bags to the 2 of them. Inside the bottles there were Buandan's inside, so even if they had to count, it would still take a while. Even Red Dawn and Ji Linger, who were already mentally prepared, couldn't help but be dumbstruck at this moment. If it were holy stone-s, then it would be over 5 million kilograms. Calm down, have you decided who you want to sell to? Chen Xiang laughed. According to the 200 gene Holy Stone S, I should be able to get 16 million gene of Holy Stone S. When the time comes, I will use 6 million gene to buy a decent house and buy more 4th grade immortal medicine. Red Cloud took a deep breath and said, "Don't worry, we have a good idea of what kind of house you want to buy. Right now you want to sell those Buendan. There shouldn't be any problems. If that big force could store so many Buendan, we can't even be happy about it." Chen Xiang changed his appearance and asked, "Have you found any news about the Pill Saint?" Ji Linger shook his head. "We can't find anything. Only the leaders of the super big powers will know some clues, but it's difficult for us to get hold of them right now." Chen Xiang said as his brows furrowed. He wouldn't even bother to pay attention to selling those 80,000 Buendan. The Red Cloud said, "To value is to value, but to not appear, because the Buendan is of no help to himself, just leave it to the elders." "What is the name of the power that you have been working with for a long time?" Chen Xiang followed the 2 girls out of the cave. He planned to meet the big shots of the big powers. Divine Feather School is not a match for him. He is one of the 5 great forces of the Heaven Sacred District. Usually, we can only see a few elders, and even if it's an elder of the Divine Feather School, it would be very difficult to see their face. Red Cloud said. Chen Xiang thought for a while. "I will find a way to meet him." He felt that the leader of this Divine Feather School should be those people with the same strength as the 9 Heaven World in the past. Ji Linger understood that Chen Xiang wanted to see the Pill Saint because of Su Mei Yao and Bai Yu. She was very clear about the relations Hi+P between Chen Xiang and the 2 of them, and she did not doubt what Chen Xiang had said. There was a large mountain range there, and huge stone towers that pierced through the clouds stood up. Divine Feather School was one of the 5 big powers of the Sky Capital, and had a very solid foundation. There were many places in the Sky City where they could mine their holy stone. They could do all kinds of business there. Chen Xiang and the 2 girls were on the top floor of a stone tower in the Heaven Sacred District. From there, they could see the huge stone tower in the distance, which was the domain of the Divine Feather School. "The 3 of you, because there are some matters that need to be taken care of within the sect, I've made you all wait. I'm very sorry." An old man with kind eyes suddenly appeared behind Chen Xiang and the others, and asked with a smile. This old man was an elder of the Divine Feather School. He was mainly in charge of managing business. His name was Luo Qi. "Elder Luo, it's all right. This time, we brought a lot of Buendan. I wonder if you guys can buy them all." Hong Xia smiled apologetically. Luo Qi looked at Chen Xiang and did not immediately discuss the deal, but asked, "Is this your alchemist? That doesn't look like it, but for him to be able to follow you, I think it should be him, as expected of someone who cannot be judged by his appearance." "Elder Luo, if we can come to a conclusion this time, I still have a small transaction. I think your leader might be interested." Chen Xiang laughed heartily, giving people a feeling that he was unfathomable. He said that he had nothing to do with the matters of this world. "If you can get him out of the mountain by locking yourself up all day, it would be a good thing for our Divine Feather School." Ling Chen. The meaning behind his words was to tell Chen Xiang that only some extremely extraordinary things would be able to cause their leader to be interested.